here comes a quick intro to the channel. You ready, babe?
We are ready.
What's up, guys? Monster Michael Todd here in Petaluma, California, where it all got started. I'm here with Italia Arm Wrestling Promotions. We're about to do a seminar. Hope you enjoy.
There you go. I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna restart. Okay. Longer than 2 years.
She's doing a lot of the talking, so that I can talk more than I'm talking.
Okay. Who is really new? Is that you? You? How many of you were aware that Michael has actually been arm wrestling even before the King's Move? Okay. 30 plus years. How many of y'all are aware that he's actually Petaluma world champion?
Whoa.
Okay. All right. So when people are throwing back at him, but you're not a world champion, actually he is in the place that it all started. So Michael, can you start with your history?
All right, guys. So I grew up in Arkansas, just kind of a redneck. Started off, I saw a Karate Kid when I was 10 years old. Told my dad I had to take karate. So I kept black belt karate and taekwondo and did Thai boxing, and I thought that was going to be my path. But I always loved arm wrestling. Beat my dad when I was 15 years old. Beat everybody in school my senior year in high school. I had English driver's ed in Votech, and I went to Votech and they said, that guy over there is second in the state. So we get down to a cafeteria table. I beat him, like, you got to go to this tournament. And that was 1990 Saline County Fair, and now my wife's interrupting me.
He can't talk any louder, so if y'all want to bring your chairs a little closer.
The story of my life.
Please get right around him. The louder he talks, the more force he has to put on his lungs, okay?
The next part of the story is going to get funny, though.
I'm not giving a shot here, am I?
Man, you can sit right on my lap if you want. All right, so so Saline County Fair, 1990. I went to that event. Crazy thing was, it took me 38 years to meet Rebecca. We met 10 years ago, and she was actually at that county fair doing
I don't know
gymnastics.
where this fits into.
I don't care. It's just funny, and it's my story. So she was there. Of course, we didn't get to meet, but I went home immediately and built a wrist wrestling table because it was wrist wrestling at the time. So you had a hand peg in the middle, horseshoe-shaped cups, and you just pin them to your forearm. Obviously, I had no idea what I was doing, so I built the table 3 inches too tall because it's the right height for me. And I started holding tournaments at the boys' club. Found out about professional arm wrestling August 1st, 1992. I went to Bossier City, Louisiana at BJ's Country. First match, guy top rope me, had no idea what the hell that was. I was like, what? He must have cheated. And maybe Kingsman, I'm not sure. But, so the second match, the guy went to a hook with me. Battle back and forth, foul. Back and hook again, battle back and forth, and I pinned the dude. He's the reigning national champion, 198 pounds. So my first ever arm wrestling tournament, I put the reigning national champion out of the tournament. He went 2-0 because Robert Redden, the guy who ultimately ended up training me, had been training for 3 years to beat that dude. He put him on the B side of the bracket. The guy went to hook with me. He could have easily top roped me, but he went to hook, put the reigning national champ out. 4 weeks later, I was at the national championships in McLean, Virginia, 176 pounds, same frame, and I took 7th at the nationals. So that's how I got hooked. Funny thing was, I had watched Over the Top as a kid numerous times. Once I got into wrist wrestling, arm wrestling, whatever, I watched that movie again, thought the whole thing was fake because I was just this inside shoulder presser. They were doing all this other stuff. I'm like, that's not real arm wrestling. Come to find out it was. So that's where it all started years ago, 1992. It took me till 2000 to win my first national championship, and that was in Denver, Colorado. Won 198 right, left, and 220 left. I went on for the next 10 years to win at least one national title every year for 10 years. And I catch a lot of shit, especially from Devin Larrick, that my left sucks. And it's not that great anymore. But in 2005, 6, 7, 8, and 9, I went undefeated at 242s at the national championships left-handed and never lost a single game. That's pretty cool, right? Because in 05, and that's when I won Petaluma.
That's when nationals were really big.
Dude, I mean, I beat Ron Bath in 05. I beat Ron Bath in, what was it? South Carolina, maybe? And then Unified Nationals 05. I won it in my event. And Matt Gardner, Matt Tim, Lindley Keating, all those folks. And then the WWC that year, World Wrist Wrestling Championships. It was the second year that Petaluma had been moved to Reno. It was a tournament champion, still WWC though. And Ron Bath took 3rd, Tom Nelson took 2nd, I won. So in 2005, I won both nationals and the World Wrist Wrestling Championships. Just with the left. The right took like,
What happened?
I blew apart in the championship match. It landed that way on the table. But yeah.
Have you all seen that match?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, it's Arm Wars.
So the funny thing is, people are like, oh, Wagner broke your arm. Well, the doctor misdiagnosed me and said I had a muscle tear. It's actually a partially torn ligament. And I said the night before to Neil, I was like, if this thing goes, we're going to find out tomorrow. As soon as they say go, I'm as hard as I can. Yeah. So it just came off the bone and everything. It was pretty horrible. But yeah, so I've been doing this thing a long time. I was a guy that used to wait to get a flyer in the mail, which y'all don't know what that's about. You still get flyers?
Not anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, wow, who sent you a flyer?
And why am I on their list?
Yeah. Well, I might be administrated. But yeah, so I was a road warrior for years. And it was me, I'd find a sponsor, I'd finally get a sponsor, and so, because you remember back in the day, you just jump in the car and you drive the tournament, right? You load up 4 or 5 guys. And
At the end of this,
I'm giving my history, and then we're going to go into training, and you know,
hang on one second. At the end of this, Michael will talk to you also about how to get sponsors, okay?
Oh, I'm a beast to get sponsors, I'm just going to tell you. All right, so in 2000, mid-2000, I got a sponsor, and it went for a year. So I went to a tournament as much as possible. So I had 26 tournaments in 2000. In 2001, I did 35 events. But that 12-month time frame in there, I probably hit 40. Because what it works, let's say it's me, you, say 5 of us roll up the car, and we take off this event. Well, I keep all our seats for the gas, but we split it 5 ways. I keep all our seats for hotels, but we split it 5 ways. So I'd go to a tournament.
Looks pretty, but the cameras are this way.
I know when I was talking to and I'd end up making $500-600 off an event. Well, that was my job basically. I just did arm wrestling. And so if the tournament paid anything, I got that money plus the arm wrestling money. So I just traveled my ass off and loved it. And the RV thing, I wanted to do that for years, except I wanted to do it where I could tournament every weekend. This turns out with YouTube and social media, now you gotta travel and film a bunch of content. But arm wrestling has blessed me, and that's why I enjoy doing stuff like this, because it's a chance to give back. I was a guy who got into arm wrestling who wanted to have a strong arm. I wanted to be the stronger guy. I wasn't the guy that had, I don't know any tricks to this day, still know no strap tricks or cheats or nothing. I need to learn them all because I get that.
We saw.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time. Like, how did you win that match? Like, I had everything. I don't know. I need to learn how to do that, but I always had a really strong arm, and I never trained my hand and wrist. If I could tell anybody one thing, focus on your hand and wrist. I do believe arm wrestling is a pulling sport, meaning your back is the largest muscle you're going to use, but if your hand and wrist aren't strong enough to contain that strength, it won't matter. My mistake was spending 20 years just trying to get my arm strong. One of the biggest compliments and or not really compliments was John Brzezinski was saying when I was pulling Ron Bath at the NAL in 2006, Michael Todd has one of the strongest biceps in the world. I just didn't have the hand and wrist to go with it. But they did say if my hand and wrist ever caught my arm, they'd all be in trouble. Well, then my hand and wrist got stronger, and my arm wasn't as strong anymore, so it kind of went back and forth. But the thing is focus on your hand and wrist as much as possible. Even if you're hooking, you still need, I mean, I want to get into that in a minute. I'll get into that in a minute.
Let's talk about when did you, tell them about the moment you realized that you more or less had arrived.
Okay, this is just backstory, guys. So, and you probably experienced similar things. The time that so I've had a lot of, I've been the world champion of every major league, UAL, NAL, PAL, Arm Wars, WAL, whatever. So I've had cool experiences and been blessed with a lot of achievements in the sport. But probably the coolest thing was when John Brzezinski or Ron Bath would call you and ask you for advice. Like, hey man, should I do this? Or what do you think about this? That's when you kind of knew that, okay, I'm there, because those are the guys you looked up to and chased for years. I remember in 1993, Nags Head Beach, North Carolina, I took 3rd place at the national championships, 210 pounds. John Brzezinski, Ron Bath, me, and then that super strong dude from Canada who looks like a lot like Van Damme, like you don't remember things like that. He started doing some videos with Devin recently. But yeah, I mean, I was 3rd behind John Brzezinski and Ron Bath at 20 years old. That was a cool event, man. And we drove our ass off that tournament. It's called the Great American Shootout. I got the plaque at home. It's supposed to pay $10,000 to first place in every weight class. The promoter didn't come through. They gave each guy $1,000. So I've been around, I've seen it all. I've seen the promise of riches, and most of the time it doesn't happen, but it's still been a great sport. Had a lot of great friends and a lot of awesome experiences. Rebecca, so when we met, she's like, that's a thing, like past grade school? I'm like, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But she claims that we met, I'm like, I'm kind of a big deal. I don't think I said that.
He did.
I do have a shirt that says that,
He
but I
did.
didn't say that.
He said it. You know he said it, right, Luke? I mean, he would definitely say it.
Possibly. But so it's so funny with our life and all the things we get to do. She looks back and goes, I can't believe we get to do this just because of arm wrestling.
It's insane.
Like,
It's absolutely insane. That arm wrestling is one of those things that can bring communities together even when they don't speak the same language. It's just amazing. And to be able to travel and participate overseas You really see it and you really get it. That's when I got it, at least. But so when I was talking about it, when you realized you arrived, what do you think was the match that set you on that path? There you go.
Yeah, so apparently we're talking about two different things.
No, I like
in
it.
2005, I was at the Riverboat Rumble. I was in the 242 class. I used to weight lift and train to be small because I felt like the only way I could have abs was I was 198 pounds. And then 2004, I got to 210 and was still lean. I'm like, well, I'm not going to lose muscle just to go down and glide a weight class. And that's when the evolution of me getting bigger started. So I'd be ripped at 210, fat at 230. Ripped at 215, fat at 240. You know, just it kept going. And then pulled Marcel Reboza at the Riverboat Rumble, and I spun him out in the top row, and I was like, dude, I can beat that guy. And I trained my ass off for about 5 months, and I got the match up there at the Black Bear Saloon. Pete Milano was the promoter, and I remember Christian and Benny in the video. They're panning over to Marcel like, he's 255 pounds. Isn't he beautiful? Because he was just the biggest Marcel anyone ever seen. It was $1,000 that we both put up. So this is before promoters gave you cash. Like this is when super matches where you bet your own money against each other. And $1,000 both of us put up. And I beat him round 1, beat him round 2, and then round 3 he fouls out. And I was like, dude, I don't want to like that. Get back up here. Because he was upset about it. And I'm like, well, let's go again. He comes back up here and he pins me. I'm like, oh shit, bad idea. Bad idea, don't do that. But then I ended up pinning 3-1. But when I won that match, when I beat the biggest Marcel Reboza anyone had ever seen, I thought, oh shit, I'm there. You know, that's when Travis started talking about me, John Brink started talking about me. Because like, ooh, because Marcel had beaten both of them very recently, you know.
And how many years into your career was that at that point?
2006, so 16.
16 years.
Yeah.
16 years.
Yeah.
How many of you know someone that gives up after 3 years of not taking home gold? You know, or maybe even after 6 months, right? This is a sport that, especially with the way that it's growing, this is something that we were speaking of earlier. Like, this is a sport that requires putting in the work and longevity, and that's where a lot of people actually end up falling short. Is they don't want to put in the work. And if you're a hobbyist, little arm wrestling is something that you just do on the side. That is fine if that fulfills you, but that's not going to get you to that #1 spot.
Yeah.
Right? So
I'm going to go into the evolution of arm wrestling from how I've seen it, right?
Okay, let's cut real quick.
Okay.
Check you real quick.
All right, guys, so now in the 31 years, what I've seen is an evolution in arm wrestling training, right? Used to, and John Brink was an advocate and still probably is, and I was the guy that said, when you're new to arm wrestling as much as possible. Anybody puts an arm in front of you, arm wrestling, because no one has the same hand, nobody pulls the same. The more hands you feel, the better you're going to be. And I'm still a big advocate of that. But I don't believe you can become an elite level arm wrestler. Like she said, if you want to be a hobbyist and maybe state level guy, and you just want to, you know, enjoy the camaraderie and being around folks, awesome. Arm wrestle as much as you want, work your regular job, do whatever. But if you want to be an elite world-class arm wrestler, you have to incorporate arm wrestling specific training. And the Eastern Europeans, I believe, have perfected that. And I think what they have done has migrated its way over here to the United States, and that's why you see more and more guys doing specific arm wrestling stuff. I'm a guy who, for years, I still train traditional, you know, chest workouts, back workouts, arm workouts, shoulder workouts. But in each workout, I do arm wrestling specific, whether it's wrist rolls, whether it's cable pulls with a spinning handle, or cable pulls with an art arm with a band as well, so I can work pronation and actually just mimic my style of arm wrestling. And when I say my style, I'm always going to be a top roller. It's just, if you're strong enough to stop me and stretch me out into an open top roll, kings move, whatever, I'm just not going to quit. Because people are like, how do you train your kings move? I don't, I train the top roll. It's just, if you're really strong, you might give me a kings move, and I'm going to be really stubborn and not quit. So that's pretty much all it is. There's nothing I do other than arm wrestle. I mean, I train riser with it. I don't do it this way. I engage my riser, and I do all my training while my riser's engaged. And you'll see conflicting theories. You'll see Devin do these micro movements, or micro movements here. I'm a big advocate of getting that riser engaged and then training while it's engaged. Because I don't want my riser to drop. I don't want my wrist to go back. So when I'm doing any form of wrist roll, and I did a lot of forward wrist rolls for a long time, then I started having pain on the outside of my forearm. So then I started doing reverse wrist rolls. Well, how did I do reverse wrist rolls without bending my wrist backwards? I would reach all the way over and wrist roll back to flat. So it's flat forward or flat backwards. Or cupped all the way back to flat. I never wanted my wrist going back. Although, when I pronate hard, you'll see my knuckles past the back of my wrist sometimes, but I'm still in a pronated top roll, right? So, and the reason you'll see my wrist do that is because normally I have a really tight strap, and as I pronate, I'm taking away my opponent's cup. So, two of the world's strongest arm wrestlers are going to be, in my opinion, Dave Chafee and Levon Sagnisby. But if you watch all their training, they train from straight to cup. And I know this with Dave, I don't know this to be true about Levon, but I suspect it is. If you take that knuckle past that wrist, they don't have access to all the power anymore. So the reason I'm able to negate Dave in our past encounters is because I have superior riser and I beat his pronation. And I get a tight strap. Once the strap is tight and I pronate through it, Dave tries to cup and his hand gets taken like that. But it's not because I've got this fully committed top roll, it's because I'm okay. As long as I can see the back of my hand, I know he's compromised. Well, I can still have access to all my power from there, and because he doesn't train that way, he no longer has access to his power. So much of my arm wrestling, and I say this like with Dave or Levon, when Levon and I were in Dubai, we never pulled, not one time. Wanted to badly, but we had sheiks and different people looking to put the money up. Couldn't give it to them for free. We both felt the same way about it. And you see us doing a lot of training. The training you don't see us do is the riser and the pronation training. On both of those exercises, I believe still not necessarily post-COVID, but in my peak form, I will still beat his riser and still beat his pronation. So you can be stronger than me out of 8 out of 10 areas of arm wrestling specific strength, but if I beat you in those 2 areas, I can negate the other advantages that you have. So arm wrestling in style, or my objective is to not out-strength you everywhere. And the reason I did that is these 2 fingers have been asleep for 14 years. I've got a compromised ulnar nerve, so I have not felt these 2 fingers for 14 years. They're just numb. So because of that, I knew I wasn't going to develop a hand that was going to be so strong that you couldn't get through it. So instead of trying to focus on something I knew I was never going to be the best at, I thought, okay, how do I develop a hand and wrist that does not get compromised before or during the slip? Meaning I'm always going to get a slip and not get called for intentional slip. That's before WAL. But now, now you can pretty much just mess around long enough to get the strap. But what I did was I just wanted to have a strong enough pronation and getting out of someone's hand to where on go, and I would do it bad back in the day. Like I would slip and turn around and look like you slipped on purpose. Like I'd get all angry. No, I did that shit. You know, so that was all me, you know? But I'd make it look like you did it, you know? But the objective is, you don't, and the reason being, Brent Reichers is a super strong guy. But he's so reliant on his hand being freakishly strong that you can't get out of his hand. Like, remember Mike Sellers was so dominant? And then I think it might have been Tahoe, and Brent Reichers just clamped and shut it down, top roll right through him. Well, he did that because his hand was so strong. But he would go to the WF Worlds and get exposed badly. Because if you're so reliant on one thing to make you successful at arm wrestling, as soon as someone is better at that, you're gone. You have no other options. I would rather be, and I'm bouncing around here. A lot of people over the years have commented on how great of an arm wrestler Travis Bajan is. And I'll tell you, Travis Bajan is great in areas of arm wrestling. But I've never considered Travis to be a great arm wrestler because I've determined someone's ability to arm wrestle is what do you do once a match stops? That's where the skill comes in my opinion. That's where the chess comes in. Travis has a silver bullet that beats 99.9% of people. So he has a move that is highly elite in the sport of arm wrestling. The most impressed I've ever been with Travis was when he pulled Richard Luckey's.
Yeah, stand up.
When he gets into, I've seen him war a few times, and those matches impress me. Because then you get to see Travis's heart. You get to see Travis pull. The rest of the time you can see Travis flash somebody or get in a bad position and just let up. So the guy who can get in any positions, there's not a match, there's not a position, and I'm not saying this because I think I'm a great arm wrestler, but there's not a position anywhere on the table that I haven't won from. There's not a position right-handed unless I'm touching the pin pad that I'm uncomfortable because I've lived there for so long. Like, the key to progressing in arm wrestling, getting better at arm wrestling, is as much table time as you can get arm wrestling from positions where you're not the most dominant, right? So a lot of people in practice, and we'll talk about this later today when we do the thing, if you grip over my thumb, I'm gonna call you out on that shit. Because who wants to be the best practice puller? Not me. I want to be the best tournament puller. Well, if you practice getting a grip, you're never going to get in a tournament. You're going to be a great practice puller and get your ass kicked in the tournament. You have to practice worse than what you're wanting to get in a tournament. So if you think you might not be able to get a tall grip, get a worse grip. Because if you practice for worst case scenario, you're prepared for anything. But if you practice, you're only good if you get all this shit, then you're screwed. Because you're not getting there, you know? And I see it all the time. You've seen it. It's just, sometimes you just got to be strong, you know? It is a strength sport at its core. What's up, Paul?
I want to know, how many times a week do you train? And with the bodybuilding, is that every day also?
So I'll tell you, when I'm home and on the road some, this trip has been a little bit different because of the COVID, right? So this is funny. So you know how you hear the redneck jokes? This is an arm wrestling joke. After your first tour, you realize you don't use your third seat, you take it out and put your wrist roller in it. So we no longer have the third seat. You might be an arm wrestler if you do that. So we took the third seat out and I took that softball wrist roller and it's in my RV. So I traveled with that thing with a 100-pound stack. I'm wrist rolling it. I couldn't fit my rope pulling machine in, so I brought my portable rope puller, looped it up on the bottom. So I have everything. When I'm at home, my morning circuit oftentimes is a cardio arm wrestling circuit. I'll do battle ropes. People think, oh, you're not doing battle ropes right. I am for arm wrestling because battle ropes is about getting your hands strong. You're just doing these battle ropes. That thing's trying to open up your hand. You don't have to get super aggressive. But if you're doing a set of wrist roll forward, a set of wrist roll backwards, and then 30 seconds of battle ropes, and you do 15 rounds, that's a hell of a circuit.
So how long is that circuit?
That morning circuit, that takes me 15 minutes.
Okay.
So then I'll bounce around for 15 minutes. Like I'll just bounce around, like turn the music on, turn YouTube on. I'll just bounce around like I'm jumping rope, jogging in place, whatever. So I'll do a 15-minute circuit of wrist rolls and battle ropes, and then I'll bounce around for 15 minutes. So that's my 30-minute cardio arm wrestling circuit in the morning. So every day I'm doing wrist rolls and battle ropes at home. And then Monday through Friday, it'll be a chest circuit. So it'll be 5 rounds of 30s. Everything's circuit training for me. And I'll tell you why. And it works really well in a tournament format as well, but specifically for super match. If I can go at 100% of my maximum effort for 10 to 15 minutes, I know as soon as they say go, boom, match stops, I can go 100% of my maximum effort because I do it every day. So I don't break at all. It's literally 225 for 30 on the incline. I run over wrist roll forward, wrist roll backwards, cable pull right, cable pull left, 30 seconds of battle ropes, 225 flat for 30, same circuit, 225 decline for 30, same circuit, 150-pound pec deck, same thing, circuit, 30 push-ups, circuit. I'm done in 10 to 12 minutes. But it's non-stop the entire time, right? So what you're doing is you're creating a massive pump. So a lot of guys will say, well, my hand and wrist wouldn't have got pumped out of one. Well, train all your arm wrestling stuff with a pumped hand and wrist. If you do all your arm wrestling related exercises while you're pumped, then you're training for worst case scenario, right?
So taking pre-workout before these?
Yes. Now I do not take a pre-workout for arm wrestle, and I still to this day cannot convince Richard Lupke's not to do that. I don't know why. I'm like, dude, Richard, don't take it because he gets pumped so bad. He goes, yeah, but I like how it feels. I'm like, yeah, do you like losing?
But it doesn't mess you up, like being used to training that way and then going into the tournament, do you lose energy from that?
No, I take liquid from D-Trex. So I take a thermogenic that gives you caffeine energy. I just don't, it doesn't have to pump it. So you still want the stimulant. I still want the stimulant prior to arm wrestling. And I think it could just be, at this point, a placebo, right? It could just be mental, and I think I need it.
Yeah.
But do not ever take a pre-workout before your arm wrestling. I've had 2 bad experiences in the last decade, performances at tournaments, and it's because I thought I was taking a thermogenic that had something that caused a pump.
You should be responsible for knowing what you're doing.
Okay, so I'm in the shower, she's in the tub, I'm looking, I'm like, hey baby, does that have anything in it that caused a pump? She goes, no, I don't see anything. Great, I'll take it. That was the Chicago event where Travis smacked me. Because I had 5 one-minute matches prior to our match, and Travis had a guy laid down to him, Travis smacked the dude, had a bye, then me and Travis. But he did smack me pretty bad. But I came home from that, it wasn't because Travis was an asshole, it was all the people online, the comments pissed me off so bad. I came home, started doing 2-day circuits, and that's when I won the finals in WL. But yeah, so I'm a big believer in train pumped. Train pump, train pump, train pump. So now, when you get into a match, if you get there, you're comfortable. It's like, this is gonna be an old movie reference. Rambo 2, right, First Blood. What you call hell, he calls home. That's how I choose to train. What most people would consider hell, I train there every day. So that when the match comes, I'm prepared, right? So that's my approach. So much of all the things that we do in life are mental. The physical is just something that you're expected to do. The mental is where you gotta be strong at. So just believe in your training, believe what you do, and normally competition day you show up and you win. With me in training, the guy that pinned the 287 for a triple and broke the cable, I think that version of me would have been very competitive in that match if not won. Unfortunately, that guy didn't show up that day. But the reason I train the same way is my belief is, a lot of people are like, so what are you gonna do about this? Or if you have to pull this guy, if you have to pull that guy. I'm a big advocate of believing in, if I do what I do right, it's going to be what you do. So I feel like if I spend too much time worrying about what you're doing, I'm not focused on what matters, and that's what I'm doing. What sacrifices I'm going to make, what work I'm going to do. Which one's harder to win? When you are not a flash arm wrestler, like you don't flash pin people, a tournament format is probably going to be hard, because I believe this is my belief, maybe true, maybe not. In both of our best forms, I believe Devin and Larry would arm wrestle 100 people or 500 people better than I would. But I think if Devin and I in our best forms arm wrestle 100 matches, I'll beat him more than he beats me. I think I have better endurance against one person than anybody in the world. I think Devin Larry has better endurance against multiple people. And I'll tell you why, because he has options. I really don't have a lot of options. Once something blows up, I'm gonna be just all heart and side pressure and stuff like that. Devin can pull you outside, he can dig that a little, he can pull you inside, then he can do something. And so the variety of options that Devin has would be different than me. If you're Travis Bajan, tournament format is probably gonna be easier than a super match, because he's gonna flash most people. And once the person pulls Travis more than 1 or 2 times, they may have an opportunity to figure him out. Okay, how do I stop this? How do I do this, right? And in a tournament, if you're on the head, you pull Travis once, and then before you know it, he's won the event. It's over with. And you see a lot of guys like that. You're lightning Luke Kent, right? So
I have 0 long matches.
yeah, you either smack him.
If I get a long match, I'm done.
Yeah. So this will go back to that's how I train. And Rebecca yelling at me at the 2007 WAL. I had won my first round, won my second round.
17.
What did I say? 17, yeah, that went around 7. So the 2017 WAL, I had trained very, very hard, and it's the first time I'd ever done VFR training. VFR training, I'm a big advocate, blood flow restriction. It increases your VO2 max. It also increases your natural growth hormone production, but also creates ridiculous pumps. So in preparation for that final, I did all my training, there's a protocol for VFR training, which is 30% or 40% of your maximum weight, 30 reps, take a break, 15 reps, take a break, 15 reps, take a break, 15 reps. I was like, I'm just gonna do a normal weight. So I just did my normal circuits with these blood flow restrictions on. It was excruciating.
You need to throw in that you had your physical
I did have my physical therapist there watching me, right? So he was like, he brought this $5,000 machine over, plugged me up to it, typed everything in, and we just did my circuits, right? So I had a lot of help getting ready for that. But, so it was a seeded event, and because they had recruited me from the UAL, I wasn't seeded. And I had that not great performance at the Chicago event. I took 3rd behind Travis at Carnegie, and I lost to Travis twice. So I wasn't seeded. So the number 1 seed was Travis Bajan, the number 2 seed was Dave Chafe, the number 3 seed was Nick Zenon. Because I wasn't seeded, those were the guys I had to beat to get the final to win. So I won my first 2 rounds, and I pulled Nick Zenon in a 1:04 or a 1:07 match. Well, Travis is flashing everybody. I know Travis is next because I looked at the bracket. I walk off the stage, I'm like, well, I'm screwed now. And Rebecca's like, no, what about your training? What about your VFR training? And here I am just in this fucking horrible mental state that now I'm screwed. I've done all this work and I'm screwed. And lo and behold, I was completely recovered by the time the next match came up. And that's when Travis did the big elbow foul. So I got that win. Then Dave Chafee got his first pin on me ever. I'm like, wow, that sucks. But then there was enough time between it that then I go back, I beat Travis, and I beat Dave for the finals. But I truly believe that was because of that style of training. Because I was used to training with a pump. I was used to having, that wear and tear on my arm. So even though I went through number 1, 2, 3 seeds to win the thing, the training and the preparation, even though it's more designed for a super match format, panned out really well for me in a one-on-one tournament. Because there's so many people, we had a video on that. So many people are like, well, I just don't know if Michael can be successful at a level with this competition that high. Because if I get in a long match, and the other guy, like if I have 5 long matches, and the guy on the outside bracket has 5 fast matches, well, he's not pulling the best version of me when we pull, right? But I don't know. I'm a big advocate of training that way. I believe it works, and I don't think it matters what's the. Okay, I'll tell you one reason why I think it's so effective, and I think we will all find out on October 16th. Corey West is a phenom. I promise you, that kid is something special. And I'll tell you why originally. So 2.5 years ago, he started coming to my house an hour and 15 minutes each way to train, right? And he would do the workouts with me. He couldn't handle the maintenance weight because he's a 400-pound kid, and we were doing high volume. Well, I believe he was so naive because he's young, 29. He didn't know that he wasn't supposed to be able to do it, so he would just do it. That to the point to where we were getting ready for my match with Dave Chafee, probably 6 weeks out, and this is BFRs. We complete the back circuit. And he's like, hey, so we can go up next week? I'm like, well, that was the heaviest circuit I've ever done in my life, the exact same one I prepared for, that I did my peak workout when I was preparing for push bar. But if you want to, I guess we will. And because I had Corey training with me, the workout that I did training for push car, the peak one that I was the strongest I've ever been when I was getting ready to pull push car, 2020 when I was getting ready for Devin, and they paused it. Remember they're like, okay, so here's your date to pull Devin. Oh wait, now here's your date to pull Devin, right? That was I had to stop in the middle of my prep and do 5 weeks of maintenance workout, and my maintenance weight was the same workout that I did preparing for push bar. Because my body had gotten so used to that type of training, right? So the weights that were so unbelievable for me to use back then, I did 5 weeks straight, just made it my maintenance. But it's because I had Corey there pushing me. So Corey has gotten very, very good, but I believe no one has had much of an impact on my arm wrestling in 31 years as Corey West has had. What's up?
How do you expect that match between Todd Zilla and Corey West to go?
My expectations are 3-0 uneventful. Corey.
Corey, how? And why?
I think just you're gonna have this huge bear gorilla of a man, and he's gonna set up, and Todd's gonna go this way, Corey's just gonna. It's just
Bottom line.
I mean, it's scary. It really is. I mean, I'll just give you an example. I have a larger than average wrist. My wrist is just shy of 9 inches. When we started training together, his was 8.5. Now his wrist is 9 1/3. I mean, his hand is like a bear paw.
Tell him what Dave said.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you that in a second.
What do you? How do you compare him before his injury to right now, where he's at?
Okay, I'm going to answer that, and preceding that is what Dave Chafee said. So prior to pulling Dave Chafee and tearing his bicep, Corey was very humble is not the word, but patient about his progress and progression in the sport. Right? He's like, in 5 years, I want to be at this level. Since he tore his bicep, something has switched mentally with that young man. He's like, I don't care. I'm going after everybody. Like, it's different.
I see it.
It's different, I'm telling you. So Dave Chafee, when Dave Chafee pulled him, he's like, never in my entire arm wrestling career. Now imagine, he has pulled Dennis and Flinko.
Oh yeah.
In my entire arm wrestling career, have I not been able to cap my thumb. But Corey's hand was so thick, he couldn't cap his thumb.
What's your thought if Corey ever got that match with Chad Shaw?
I guess you didn't see when Chance asked Corey to pull.
I saw the lawn chair.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. Okay, and I like Chance. I like Chance a lot. Chance is a good kid, and he may very well be the future of North American arm wrestling if Corey ever quits. Specifically because we're sitting there, and Chance's buddy asked Rebecca, "Hey, is Corey gonna be here?"
Now remember, Corey's not been training for 3 months.
Because he tore his bicep.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, is Corey gonna be here? Rebecca's like, yeah, it's cool, because Chance wants to pull him. Well, then they get going and everything, and Corey sends me the videos, so I post it to our channel. And then I talked to Chance, I said, hey man, sorry, I had to post that. He goes, man, I wasn't expecting that I didn't know that was being recorded. Funny thing is, in my video, you see Chance Shaw hand his phone to his buddy to record it. You know what I'm saying? But
Because he was totally going to use it.
yeah, I mean, if he would have busted Corey up, that would have been all over Chance's channel. Now, Chance, in my opinion, is silver bullet dangerous like Travis. But he lacks the arm power right now. And that's where Travis was for a long time. Travis Bajent was a big, supersized Dave had. He was tricky, he was very, good, very explosive. But if he got a match, boom, because he didn't have the horsepower. And then Travis knew that and gained the power. Chance is going to have to do the same.
So let's talk about what it looked like when Chance did pull.
I mean, you can go to my channel and see it, but there's a few times he takes off. I mean, like he pulls and Corey's holding his pins. And then one time Corey's looking away and Chance just rears back on him. Boom! I would like, I did talk to John via text, and he said if he did well against Chance, he would be interested in pulling Corey, because he had told, now, there's a story that I'll share.
Camera off.
Camera off? Okay, camera's off. It's just, I promise you guys.
In Wax That Had You, kind of seen that when Corey and John.
Yeah, and that was the pre-Corey injured guy. That was before Corey got.
That was the first time I seen Corey ever.
I'm telling you, that kid is something different.
I saw it.
It is, man, I'm gonna have to get healthy. Like,
Quick.
yeah, I'll bounce off Corey right now. In the state that I'm in right now, I will hit him as hard as I can and bounce off him. Now, prior to me getting sick, prior to me pulling Devin, I was in very, very good form against him. We pulled a couple times since then, and just be honest, we went back and forth. I mean, and that's before I got cut. I mean, kid's strong.
I want to ask a couple questions.
All right.
Where do you have Chance Shore? Where does he sit in the food chain right now?
Okay, so where does Chance rank? I think Chance ranks very accurately to where he has himself on the North American rankings, whatever it's called, in the hook rankings. Yep. Except he didn't put John above him.
Okay.
So he has himself above Michaelo, but John Brzezinski's still not ranked, right? So in my opinion, it goes. Well, I can't give you my opinion because I think Corey West. I think Corey West beats Todd Hutchins. I think he beats Tim Bresnan. I think he's got a very good chance to Sherry Cataret. And
you got Corey in the top 3.
In the United States,
yeah,
you got Healthy Me, Dave Chafee, Jerry Cataret, or Corey, or Corey, in my opinion. Seriously, Jerry is a very, very strong individual, but I don't know how his style is going to work against Corey. There's just, I'm telling you, something has changed in that kid. I mean, he's only 31, 30. I think he's 31. I think he just turned 31.
He's got the hunger in him, I can see it.
And listen, I've never been ragdolled in my life than how I've been by this dude. I mean, I'm 270, he snatches me up like a sack of meat. My feet are just kicking. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn. All right, Luke had something first.
I was going to ask, like, who in the world has beat Todd Hutchins in a hook anywhere around 240 pounds? Like, I pulled Corey just for, that doesn't really mean much, and I pulled Chance the same day. They both feel like gorillas to me. But in my mind, and I also pulled Todd Hutchins all within 12 months. And to me, it's hard for me to differentiate like the power between the three just because there's such a gap between somebody my size and theirs. But just from watching Toddzilla pull around the world in the last 10 years, like I just can't imagine Corey having the amount of power you're saying he does to be able to go through Todd Hutchins at 240-ish pounds.
And it may not be a hook. He's 420 though, so you said anybody at his same weight. So there's a U in between them in weight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it may not be a hook. It may be more of a just, he hooks into this wedge and Corey just, if Corey gets aggressive,
And that's the
if
only.
Corey gets aggressive, you might hurt him.
But that is the only.
The only thing that Corey lacks, and that's what Rebecca's about to say, is aggression. Because I'm gonna just say, at 11 years old, he's 6'3", 330. That's how big the kid is. So if you're 6'3", 330 at 11 years old, you end up carrying yourself more like this because you don't want to be the giant that scares everybody, right? Well, that's, in my opinion, that's carried on to his adult life because he was 5'05" when he graduated high school. So, yeah. So I mean, he is an enormous man, and his jeans are only 30. So in my opinion, he should have been like 6'8". He didn't have long legs. He just had a short, but his upper body is right. So there's something different about the kid. But what I'm thinking, and I love Todd. Todd came down and trained Todd. Todd and I traveled the world. We've done a lot of stuff. If Todd pulls Corey like he pulled Zoliev, it's gonna be way worse than what happened to me against Zoliev. I mean,
have we ever seen Corey grip up with Todd?
Oh yeah, they pulled at my house. Todd came and trained with me, and Todd crushed him. But Corey hadn't lifted a weight since his tour of Basel.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even released to be pulling yet. I mean, when I say crushed him, Corey, you know, but Don Underwood beat Corey at that same practice. And Don Underwood has never ever pinned Corey in his life ever. But he beat him at that practice. Now, and I like Woody a lot too. And Woody might have thought he found the right angle. But I think we just found it's like, if you beat me today, doesn't mean you really beat me. You beat me now. You beat me today, and you're better than me today. But I just had COVID. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not the same guy. It's kind of like Corey not training for 4 months, and pulling Todd. But a lot, it's so funny because like who's the kid with arm wrestling news? Pradeep. Yeah. Pradeep's like talking about me commenting on my belief in Corey. Well, I think Corey needs another year before he can pull Todd. Dude, you've never even met Corey. I don't know what you know about arm wrestling, but I don't know why I should be listening to you. You know, so it's so funny to me because I mean he's this little dude in India or whatever, giving his comments on everything that goes on, and I mean good for him in his channel. That's great, but you're telling me, and I wasn't right. I thought I was going to 6-0 Devin.
You were way wrong.
I was slightly off on that prediction. You know what I mean? But go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry. You had a question.
Do you see Corey West in the WAL? Do you see him holding a hammer? I think also, like, how do you feel about genetics playing a role in arm wrestling?
Okay, so genetics, in my opinion, are huge in arm wrestling.
Pause. If we're not getting to this part, grab your chair back and sit down at the beginning.
I think genetics are huge in arm wrestling. But clearly, looking at me, genetics are not the most important thing. Because although I'm 6'3", that's not a 6'3" hand. That's not a 6'3" lever. I was not genetically predisposed to be good at arm wrestling. I was a guy who hated losing. My disgust for losing and hating the way that felt forced me to make more sacrifices than the average person, meaning treat myself like an athlete, feed my body like an athlete, train when other people were out having fun and doing this. I hated losing. So because of that disgust for losing, I didn't want to feel that way anymore. So I did everything in my power to not feel that way. And because of that, I progressed over the years. And I believe, in my honest opinion, there's been at least a half a dozen different times and or days or moments that I was the best arm wrestler walking face. I just didn't get a chance to prove it on those days. After 2012, I did everything I could to get Dennis and Plinkoff to arm wrestle. I mean, I had people offering $25,000 just to, I mean, and this is before there was $25,000 matches, right? I don't know. There's been several times that I know I was the man. But as a general rule of thumb, my opinion is when I'm healthy and everyone's healthy, on any given day, there's about a half a dozen of us could be the best guy in the world. You know, and the only thing we know right now is that on May 28th, Devin's better than me. We don't know. That mean he was number one in the world. Levon might be the man. Italia might be the man. Gennadi's not the man. But I mean, he's just not. Did you see what Levon did to him? Okay, so, and let me tell you how I knew Gennadi wasn't the man. When I was in Dubai with Levon, and we're doing our top 5 in the world, and Levon doesn't mention Gennadi. Yep. So the guy who trains with him doesn't mention him in his top 5. That's because he trains with him. He's like, yeah, you know, he's not the same. He's past his peak. His wrist isn't like it used to. He's just telling me, he's like, so who do I believe? All of social media or the guy who pulled him most? So clearly, you know, you take Levon's opinion, like, yeah, I trust you, you know. Now, does that mean he's not good? No, he's still world class. And I would like to see him and Hermes pull. Gennadi and Hermes, I think, would be, it may not even be a good match. Hermes might crush him. But I'd like to see it, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's all I know is on any given day, normally there's about a half a dozen different people, depending on the day. Like, I feel like you could have ran me and Devin 3 weeks earlier, could have had a different outcome, you know. But so you want me to go about this now?
Yep.
All right. So WAL, Corey.
Yeah, Corey West.
So do I think so WAL? I don't know exactly what's happening. If WAL continues, I plan on holding on to that hammer as long as possible. And I do believe, I genuinely do believe, if WAL comes back and I can, because see, what COVID did to me was make me hungry. And kind of like what happened with Devin. Because Devin almost died from blood clots. I can't say, I know I was very, very ill. And being that ill and not being able to will myself through it, like I'd be in bed and I'm like, I'm just gonna get up. And I'd get up and I'd just fall back down. Couldn't do it. I mean, I've never mentally not been able to will myself to push through anything in my life. And when I couldn't do that, it pissed me off. So now I'm motivated. Like we're trapped. Obviously, we're on a 6 month tour across the United States. What's one of the best things to do when you're traveling? Eat. Try the different cuisine. Enjoy your time. We're doing a 110-day run with only 5 cheat meals. So I'm following my meal plan on the road because I'm hungry, because I don't want to feel that way again. And me getting my ass kicked by Devin did not sit well with me, you know. So that whole Monster 2.0 shit is real. So I plan on holding that hammer as long as I possibly can and defeat all comers. But if there is someone that's going to take it from him, it's probably going to be Corey.
Wow. Do you think it would have been a different outcome with the WAF table against Devin?
Not on that day. I didn't show up for whatever reason. I couldn't get. I mean, Rebecca had to leave and go sit in the hall because I didn't want to turn the lights on because I just want to sleep. So she's calling Corey. She's messaging like something's wrong. Michael won't wake up. He's just sleeping. So I don't know what happened, but the monster version of me didn't show up that day. But I was proud of Devin.
So everything happens
I do
for a
think he
reason.
Jedi mind fucked me though, because I spent 5 days with him of him telling me, like, we got to hear a lot of stories about Devin's life and these different things and all these things he's had to overcome, and I got invested in the story, I think. So part of me is like, I'm a fan. Oh, great chocolate. I don't know, but somehow things changed.
Real quick, your opinion on Bill Collins's refereeing on that day?
He missed a couple calls, but I don't care. I asked for Bill to be the ref, and it wasn't, Bill didn't necessarily miss a call. He let this dude call some bullshit. That guy right there, he called some bullshit.
But that guy never should have been
Yeah, he shouldn't have been the ref. That guy's never refed a professional match in his life. He don't ref practice matches. But round one, technically Devin had 3 fouls instead of, so I should have, but I don't care. It wouldn't matter, right? Wouldn't matter. And then we didn't notice it till after the thing. Devin's false start here. He comes back up, he's talking, and he's, well, our arms in the air, he's wrenching down the strap. Oh, dude, no, it's this way. Which way? Yeah, the strap is this. He's here, and as he's come back up, he's pulling the strap down, folding me up underneath him more, and I didn't even notice it, and we started back up. So the first false start was just so he could get that. So Devin's tricky. I'll go watch it. It's crazy.
Oh,
It was bad.
I gotta watch it.
It was bad. Like, he's literally like this. He takes off on the false start, just like, and then as our arms are going up, he's got the strap, just like this, talking of this, distracting the shit out of him, pulling my shit all the way underneath.
But their game, Jody and Devin, their game is so much more than just strength on the table. They work together, and you can hear that. Well, no, as they're setting up, she's yelling at the referee to watch Michael, not Devin. Right, watch Michael. So they have a perfect team together. They really do.
They do well, a very good job. And the thing is, Devin tells me, like, listen, the fight starts before you get the table.
But hang on, that's one reason why a lot of people have come to both me and Jody wanting us to have a match. And we've had promotions come at us like, will y'all do this match? And I'm like, under no circumstances, no, I'm not doing it. Because to be in that arena with those two takes a type of mental toughness. I don't have
She really does believe she'd be mentally screwed pretty bad.
I would be mentally screwed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you would see me in a corner, sucking my thumb or something like that, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But I can't beat that.
They're amazing. I mean, Devin played the role perfectly, and he had a perfect outcome. And I'm proud of it. I'm gonna be talking on separate. I am super proud of Devin for this Thor thing.
Oh yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm a fan, right? Like, I want to see this.
What's your opinion? Do you think he has a shot?
So I did my video on it, and I said if it was mixed martial arts Devin, grappling Devin, street fight Devin, fight to death Devin, boxing, I mean, Thor has trained as a professional boxer for over a year now. But it's striking, dude. I might could knock one of them out. You know what I mean? I catch somebody the right shot. This right arm got a little power in it. So you just don't know. I have said this since day one. So when I was in Dubai, I told him, I was like, listen, because I was talking about the Jake Paul and all them doing those fights and stuff. I'm like, listen, how many followers do I have to be considered an influencer so I can get one of these celebrity boxing matches? But we'd like to have 500,000. Like, as soon as I get enough followers, book my ass to fight. Because I'll fight anybody for the right amount of money, right? I'll fight Tyson right now if they can pay me enough. If it's like my life and I'm working more, I'll fight Tyson. You know what I'm saying? Like, because none of that matters. I mean, now, am I doing it for free just for social media? No. Because I don't like getting punched in the face. But if you get paid enough, y'all all punch me in the face right now, you know what I'm saying? But, so I was wanting to do it beforehand. And I'm serious, if Devin comes out on top of this thing, I will push as hard as I can to fight him next year. 100%. I mean, it's because someone will pay for it, and that sheik money over in Dubai is no joke. So it doesn't have to be televised. We can do it in some sheik's palace. The money's right, you know what I'm saying? I'm down, but the fact that he's doing it, and the fact that there's only one person I know and this may be arrogant or egotistical to say, that will push himself to limits as far as I will or further, and that's Devin. I mean, the dude's left his house. He's at a fight camp. He's living in a barracks. Like, if I'm training, I got a 2,000 square foot gym in my house. I'm bringing trainers in my house. I'm not leaving my wife to go train somewhere. But I'll train just as hard there. But it takes a different mentality. But he's used to it because of his military background. They were gone apart for 6 months, 7 months. That was their life. My life is being my best friend every day. So she'd be there supporting me. But we're gonna be training in my house, you know.
How do you expect that fight to go?
I mean, I can't bet on it because I have no idea. But I think it's 50-50. I literally think Devin can beat him. I mean, well, of course he can. But will he? So, I mean, I think Thor can beat Devin. I think Devin can beat Thor. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But it's exciting as hell. It's more exciting now to me than it would have been had it been Eddie. And I like that fight. Yeah. I was excited about that fight. But Devin versus Thor in a boxing match. And are y'all following Devin? Are y'all seeing his training?
Yeah.
Like, the dude is serious. But he's a different dude. Devin is a mentally tough dude. And the only time I've ever seen Devin mentally beaten was 2018 WAL. And I'll tell you why. Every chance he got, he tried to grip my hand. He'd walk up to me, want to grip me. I'm like, hey buddy. He goes, you're not going to grip? I'm like, no, you can go tomorrow or the next, whatever day it was. Up to 10 minutes, I mean, right before they're about to call our names, he walks up to come grip it. I'm like, hey buddy, you're not going to feel it? I'm like, you feel it in a minute. I mean, I was so in that dude's head. And that's the whole thing. I knew with his background, I knew with his special forces alpha male personality, there's no way I could be standing at this table, calling him up there and him sit on a chair. I knew he was going to come up. There was no way he wasn't come back up. So the first round, I had several opportunities to hit him. I didn't let him win that match, but I chose to let the match play out because I saw how much training was going on. So I took the first loss because I saw how much work it took for him to pin me. And then I walked over, Rebecca's like, okay? I'm like, oh, I'm good. I walked back to the table, 30 seconds, and I'm just waiting on him. And then the best thing ever, y'all need to go back and watch this. The best cornerman in the history of cornermen ever.
For you, but he was in Devin's
He was Devin's cornerman. Mox Tobin, right? Come on, Devin, show him who you are. Devin's sitting on the chair, and I'm at the table waiting to Devin come back up there, and he still has 60 seconds. And Mox Tobin goes, come on, Devin, show him who you are. And Devin pops up off that chair and comes right back up there. And I'm like, thank you so much. I'm about to kill this. Because it was just hilarious, you know, because it was after round 3. So round 3, I'm down 2-1. But Devin's laying on the table like this after he hit me. I mean, he's laying there. And I'm just like, all good. I walk back over there, her and Dave chasing him like, he's done, it's over. And then he goes, pow. So I do believe I had the longest match in WAL history and the fastest match. If y'all watch that shoulder press, that shit was ridiculous. Okay, we're talking about this now? Yeah. Everybody's like, shut up. All right, I can drink this water.
Did you turn down the show, Game of Arms?
Yes, I did. How'd you know that?
Yeah, I watched a lot of your videos.
Okay, so I was the very first person contacted for Game of Arms. I was going through a very messy divorce at the time. And that shit did not need to be public. So I was like, we'll just come back around later. And then they went to the Arnold, they met Don Underwood, he won the Arnold. Okay, we got to cast Don Underwood. Well then, Don Underwood goes out to Bakersfield, he loses to Alan Fisher. I don't know how that happened. So then they cast Alan Fisher, right? And then it just grew from there. And then somehow I never got the call again. But funny thing was, I had heard stories about how they were producing the show, and I had Woody in front of a bunch of shot glasses at a bar, because he was an alcoholic, right? And I was like, I'm not cool with that. I'm a professional athlete. I want to represent arm wrestling as a professional athlete. So we're at the CrossFit Games, and I beat Dave Chafee. The producer of the show walks up to Rebecca and says, oh my God, are you Rebecca?
Oh, y'all, this is one of the most embarrassing moments of my life.
This embarrasses shit out of her. Go ahead, baby.
So he's out there pulling with Devin, right? They're having some fun on the tennis court, and his name is Ben, right? So he was
Do you mind coming over here? Sorry.
Okay. He was one of the cameramen for Game of Arms, and he said, I'm so excited to meet Michael. You think you mind talking to me? I was like, oh no, he loves talking to you guys. So like, hey honey, come on over here. This is Ben. He works at Game of Arms. He's like, yeah, that shit you're doing, I like it.
Oh, man.
So that probably bit me in the ass too with the show.
I was like,
as soon as he walks up to me,
I like to talk to
I was like, yeah, no, I hate that shit you're doing. You know, because Woody was what I consider a friend who had a very debilitating disease of alcoholism, and they were trying to promote it. I'm like, that's not. I'm a professional athlete. That's not arm wrestling. You know, the fact that you're trying to. I mean, I enjoyed the show. I really did. I would like to see season 2.
We love the show.
I mean, I got teary-eyed a couple of times. I like the show, you know. It was completely unrealistic to think that anyone's traveling across the United States for $1,000 and it's going to change your life, right? But if you're going to do it that way, lie. Say it's $50,000, you know what I'm saying? Then you could have a lot of people think top rolling is over rotation spinning out. Everything is cup related. So cup, hook, cup, top roll. See, this Cobra Rhodes did it perfectly. Like, he's the first person to ever do it correctly, in my opinion.
Nice catch.
So, all right, one more time. Go ahead, there you go. Cool. All right, so I like that. I like the way that feels. I'm gonna put a little bit of pressure in your hand. That's good. Feels nice. So, if you have more of this, you won't get spun out as much. So this would be, this is what I'm gonna do. We'll come here, and to pull through it. So it's just fingertips to elbow. All my top rolling comes through my thumb, right? And what that means is, so look, see, not like that. So you're pronating out.
Over here.
Come back in here on the table. Once you cup, then this, so like I actually top roll a lot of times better from a hook. Because it's about points of contact on the back of my hand. So the more points of contact I have on the back of my hand, the more pressure points I get to apply pressure into, right? So objectives crunch and then roll. So it's more like a wedge, right? Is that how you top or how do you top?
No, not traditionally. I try to just create as much pressure, lock in my pronator, and I'll just sit back on it.
So is that kind of how chance pulls?
More like that.
Because the way you set up, it kind of felt like. Yeah. All right, so fingertips, elbow, and then crunch. See, the thing is, if you get this, you have control. If you can get this on go, now all this stuff is tricky, get away from it, get leverage, get power, and that's great. But I'm a big advocate of, and the funny thing is, because you never see me cup, right? You're like, well, you're saying you cup first. I do, but everybody's strong as shit, so it ends up being like this. You know? When you're arm wrestling the strongest guys in the world, you're cup. If you weren't cupping, you'd be like this. So you cup and you both end up out like that, right? So it's fingertip to elbow, straight down, and roll through the thumb line. I need all the pressure, right? So I'm gonna let you feel, I'm gonna cup, and feel my thumb right here, tighten up. See how it's coming through my thumb? So that's what when I say pull the thumb, it's this thumb line. So once you cup, this is the line that you're pulling through. That make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so one more thing I want to show. Who caps and who doesn't cap?
I cap.
No cap.
No cap.
No cap. You don't cap because you're hooking. You cap?
Yeah.
Hey, you may not have this problem. I have this problem. Get real close on this. Watch me cap my thumb.
Doesn't go over.
That's all the space I get when I cap my thumb. Right? So now I have 1, 2, 3 contact points. And this is just kind of floating, right? Same grip, close your hand. Close your hand back up. Look how much further my finger just came around.
Yeah.
And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 contact points. So why would I cap?
Can you not get a contact with that finger while you're capping? Can you wrap it over that?
Nope.
I
And
gotcha.
this isn't a super heavyweight hand, so imagine super heavyweights.
Right.
Right? So the thing is, the only time, if you ever see me capping, is 100% because I'm gonna slip. Because if I'm here, I have to get past my thumb to slip, right? If I'm not capping, I have to get past my thumb to slip. Here, I fly through my thumb, so as he's going, I can always, so if I'm capping, it's because I'm gonna slip. Once I'm here, it's always that, right? It's always fingertips.
You show us what it looks like when you want to blame that other person for using
Yeah.
it. He is just showing them riser and pronation. He's showing them what riser and pronation can do.
We need to
King's move
get that.
is when he's
Where's the
straightening.
pin pad at? All right, so this time I'm gonna engage my riser. You'll see me do that dump thing. Yep, so. Yep. All right, so my fist is pointed at his face. I'm gonna engage my riser.
Jesus.
Ridiculous, right?
Yeah. The fuck?
Let's go on your knee and try doing what he's doing. See if you can do it.
Let him just be 6'3".
Right?
So all I'm doing is because.
Oh!
Got that right?
As you're working your riser, you're basically just showing your bicep and your lat. So you're sitting here just like this. If you're the stronger guy at practice and you're not getting work, you can practice everything from right there. So all the muscles you use for arm wrestling, you're just isolating them. So there's no body movement, there's no nothing, it's just, right? But when you engage that riser, see, that's the thing about a tight strap.
Yeah.
People don't realize the importance of a tight strap. They're like, oh, I want it loose, I want this. If you get it tight and you have a, as soon as I went like that, his wrist went boom.
Yes.
But it's because I gave
I lost
strap
all feeling in my
and you
hand.
felt great there at first, didn't you?
Yeah.
So the strap's tight, and as soon as I engage, because we have a tight strap, his wrist gets compromised.
Yep.
So I'll let everybody feel it.
Good luck.
Dude, seriously. Just want to learn that.
So just, okay, pause the cameras just for a second.
So you can't fucking counter it.
I really can't tell what he's doing.
I need to try to go inside. So, okay, I'll show you right now.
It's just when it's
So I'm gonna rise up. My knuckle, see my knuckle
I tried
hurt?
jumping in and it literally just brought my wrist.
See, I'm giving everything here, and then I'm
You
just
have
gonna rise
to
into
lose so
stretch.
much strength in your hand.
So you're going like this.
That's it.
Like this.
Yeah.
It's literally just riding up.
Feels really weird, right?
Putting so
All
much
right.
pressure on your wrist, your hand right there, everything just
He's like, one more. 18 more. Let's go. Yeah. I want to be tall. Left handed, I just do this. This is right handed.
yeah.
That's because this is the range of motion of my right arm. That's bone. That's bone. So people think this is an advantage. Has anyone seen my left hand shoulder press? It's nasty because I can get this close, right? This is my right hand shoulder press. It takes like a day and a half to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like my left one though, I can do that fast. If this would come all the way to my shoulder, I'm 99.9% sure I could flash everybody as soon as they say go in the shoulder press. I just can't get there because I've done this for so long. And I just push through, and this is the point of my elbow, and this is all bone fractures. This is growth from bone fractures.
Oh, let's show that.
On my x-ray?
No, show them where your elbow is on the pad, and people are like, oh, my God, his elbow's on the pad.
Yeah, check this out. So, point of my elbow is on the pad, but everybody says my elbow's off the pad. No, my bone fractures are off the pad.
Now show off the back.
Elbow still, point of my elbow still on the pad.
That's his elbow.
So refs have to be aware that this is the point. These are all bone fractures.
Yep.
It's just growth. My x-ray is nasty. You up? We never checked myself.
I'm letting it go so I can actually count your heart rate.
But yeah, so I'm just showing you. So this would be a traditional movement you could do even if you weren't down there. It's just I get the height down there because that's the only way my right hand will go up, right? But if you just engage your riser, you can get the same thing. You just have to have your riser. You got to train your riser.
Exactly.
Okay, so you know some strap cheats because he's doing this weird shit with his hand. I'm an idiot. Like I don't know what he just did to me, but it felt really uncomfortable. All right.
Damn.
See, I didn't get his riser. I mean, that's just hooking because he did that thing real good. Oh, goodness. All right. Yeah. Finish me. Oh, you got me in a sticky spot there, but I'll try to work for it in a second.
Yeah.
Your wrist does a little popping. That's what it always. Yeah, I know. I figured you were comfortable there, so I figured why not. All right, so there are counters to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just not telling you all till the end. How's everything? How right there? It's pretty good. No way. He blocked it immediately. I knew where he's going that time. So.
Are you gonna go the same way every time?
Oh, he changed it.
It's not that I'm trying to go this way, he's making me go this way. Exactly. Yeah, no, it's like so much control over your
Amazing.
hand.
Yeah, but appreciate it. Pulling here with riser, that's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do the tighten up. And then I'm gonna watch you feel this. And then it's just that.
So you're gonna go like this, and this is what I'm gonna do?
No, you didn't kick your wrist in at all. You just had to raise your knuckles up. You have to watch me kick my wrist in. You'll see it, man. Watch. Tighten up. Get real tight. I'm just gonna go here, and I'm gonna do it without my hand, without my fingers.
Okay.
So it's just that. But when I do that, I take the.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. No, I can't even do it.
Now you have to kick this in. This. You're not doing anything with this. It's this.
And my elbow stays in the same spot.
Yeah. It's just rising. If you can do that, and you see,
Was that wrong?
that look good, much better. Now you have to apply fingertip pressure, and then drag your top knuckle to your left shoulder
No, then enjoy it.
with fingertip pressure. I mean, you gotta try to cut that.
What do you enjoy more overall?
It feels good. It's just.
On the road,
I mean,
might say.
do you feel like pulling it off? Do you feel okay?
Because
feel me because I'm so weak.
just don't hurt me. No, seriously, don't hurt me.
I don't want to.
Go ahead and get your chalk up it. So y'all can just do a normal, slow match. She's just coming back after 2.5 year hiatus, but she is strong. I mean, she knows her
My right arm's super weak.
Oh, great, awesome. I love it.
So,
But just do your normal move. You're just gonna ease into it.
Yeah. Alan,
Straight wrist.
for her.
Ready, go.
yeah, I've never been much of a football fan, but practice is cool.
Yeah, you're gonna not even shaved it. Well, I shaved it April 2017 for that Marvin Cohn event because I was supposed to be the guest commentator. Said we need you, so I had a goatee. I get out there like, hey, they reformatted the show. They don't have your position anymore. They still pay me though, so I was like, cool. So I ended up being the assistant coach to Devin, but I made more money than Devin. It's always worth it, you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hammer throw, obviously, and then
I lose everything that way if I try to come here,
Yeah.
but I can't. There's no way I can.
well, you could probably. It's nice though. That's some good power. All right, I guess you're up next.
Yeah, I would love to.
Say being accurate about his placement in the group. I think he may be trying to sandbag me. You know how those guys are.
Yeah. No, I
He
do.
is friends with Chance. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. I love you, Chance. All right.
Wings. Oh yeah, that pressure right there. These fingers can do a damn. You lose everything to be able to do that.
Can you do the same thing left-handed?
No, my left side. So the deal is, my left arm is pretty strong. My hand and wrist, oh my God. It's for some, and I train it exactly the same way as I do my right, with pretty much the same weights. But for some reason, it just doesn't work the same. That's what I'm talking about. Get that sucker tight.
So I'm gonna try from the
Hey,
inside.
keep trying. I'm feeling good about myself. I'm just kidding. Just like, all right.
Mike, so would that work against Dave Chafee?
No. this would not work against Dave
Jamie's a bit of a different animal.
Yeah, so I have to have everything to be able to compete with Dave, you know. And this really is limiting me to my riser, my bicep, my lat, and pronation. I have no side pressure. Like you see, if someone stops me, it's hard to finish because you're side pressure with your pec like this. That's all you got, you know. I'm gonna rise hard. You ready?
Try to combat it as much as I can.
Oh, this is a sandbagger. He's the real sandbagger. I felt him earlier. Wait until the end. I said strong. Damn it. There's always one.
I want to feel that, but I gotta go super easy with it.
Oh, no, I will.
What happened to your wrist?
Arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like 7-8 years ago.
Tendon or?
Tendon, yeah. You pulled my wrist real quick, hold it tight. Well, you won't feel it there. Grab my wrist, like my.
So the first 20 years of arm wrestling career, no health insurance.
I've had that
First
for a few
19 years,
months
no health
before on my
insurance.
left.
How'd you make it?
Luckily that healed
I'll
on
tell
its own.
you, my friends like
Yeah, my
Greg
shit won't
Touye,
go away.
and everybody would go to the
Sometimes I
doctor.
still
Like,
get it
I
in
have
my
this injury, I have that injury. I'm like, I bet I do too.
Got
I just worked through it. Like, I had no idea. I mean, no health insurance whatsoever. Something hurt. I was like, well, let's just keep working out. So, fortunately, when my left arm blew up, I got to get it
You mind
up.
holding this while I feel Michael?
Fortunately, my left elbow blew apart. I just recently got health insurance, so his hand feels pretty strong. Can someone stop this table from going up runs? You know, like I'm getting buried under the table. Like literally, I'm under the table. Who came up with that shit? All right.
When are those garden gnomes gonna be available, man?
Well, I made the shirt. I'll buy a shirt. And we made a bunch of shirts and only like 25 people bought it. So when they jump on it like that, you're in trouble when your beard gets hot. That's pretty good though. So we went to everybody on that.
I want to feel you just for a minute.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. All right, so how does everyone train for arm wrestling? How do you train? I see you doing some circuits and some different things, some traditional bodybuilding stuff.
I stopped the bodybuilding 2 months ago. I've been just doing arm wrestling specific. I've been doing 3 weeks of arm wrestling specific exercises during the week, and then 1 day at a time.
So what are you doing Travis's stuff? What are you doing?
Todzilla's.
Todzilla's.
But I also incorporate some of Travis's things. I'm kind of getting like everybody's and kind of putting my own thing together.
Got you. I like what Travis does. Todd's stuff makes sense. It does. But I think it's one of those styles of training that are very specific to individuals. I do not think that, this is going to be biased, but I do believe my style of training would work for the most broadest amount of people. I think Todd's is the least amount of people that would benefit from his style of training. Then I think Travis is right behind mine as far as most people would benefit, and I think Devin is more specific as well. And I'll tell you why I think Devin's. Honey, you filming yet?
No.
Okay. Sorry guys.
I didn't know that you switched back from the ugliness
The ugliness of awesomeness.
3
You missaid awesomeness and said ugliness.
to
All right, yeah. So as far as I'm gonna repeat a lot of stuff. Okay, sorry. As far as styles of training, I do think that my style of training would benefit the most broad amount of people, the largest number, because I think people could benefit from it specifically because it teaches you how to arm wrestle, especially with the cable pulls. I feel like a lot of your cupping and your pronation needs to be done from a table versus doing all your pronation here or doing all your cupping here. I'd rather do all my cupping here and my pronation from pound. And I don't like this style of I think if you're doing anything from here, it needs to be a full, all the way from the start to the finish, right? Versus these half movements, these small movements. I think they create bad habits, just my opinion. I think after mine, I think Travis's style would benefit the most number of people. Then I believe Devin after that. And the reason I think Devin would be that third, and I'm just talking about the North American guys mainly, because some of the East Europeans got this stuff down. Devin is 6'6". We're not all 6'6". He's got different levers than we do. Some of the things that Devin can do, the rest of us can't do. You know what I'm saying? So I think he has developed a way of training that's very specific and beneficial to him that may not translate to everyone else. And I think Todd is just an anomaly. I think Todd Hutchins' style of training is just an anomaly. I don't think most people can do it. And I don't think the fact that his joints stay as healthy as they are has got to just be like, not every single person can train that way and keep healthy joints. I mean, damn, he came to my house, I did some of that shit. No, Bob Brown did call. He's like, dude, I was really surprised that you could match Todd on the lifts that he does. Like, I don't ever do those, but I can still jump in there and hit the same kind of PRs on those exercises. And if I train that way, would it make me better? Would it make me a strong arm wrestler? A lot of the stuff he does with he'll let his wrists go back. I don't want to do that, right? So,
Would you say if his training style is because Todd is a much smaller person as far as frame compared to everybody in his weight class too?
No, I think Todd Hutchins is a engineer. He has a mind of an engineer, so he thinks that way. So that West Side barbell training and numbers and max effort days and these days, it makes sense in here. So where I just like doing the same thing and the next week doing it heavier. And the next week doing it heavier. And the next week doing it heavier. And then the rest of the week go kick somebody's ass, right? You know what I'm saying? So the way I get most of my benefit isn't on the table. See, I used to not even have table time, except for every couple months we'd have a big practice in my house. Once Corey started coming over, after each workout, we would arm wrestle. So then my body got used to arm wrestling again. Years ago, I would arm wrestle. When I won the Yukon Jacks in 1995, the regionals. And this is another claim, this one I claimed to fame back in 95. Bill Brzezinski won, John Brzezinski won, George Gibbons won, and I won. So those are the 4 regional qualifiers for the Yukon Jack 198 class. And what happened was I pulled super heavyweights. I said, man, if I could lose 35 pounds getting that 198 class, I could win it. So I drove to Chicago on my rent money, and I won the weight division, went undefeated. But, where's the going with that story? Arm wrestled, the night before I went there, I was in BJ's Country in Little Rock arm wrestling for money. So I arm wrestled the night before the Yukon Jack regionals. Arm wrestled every day. And everyday arm wrestling will condition you to arm wrestle. But it's very hard to arm wrestle and weight train. So what I like to do is have numbers to gauge my progress and where my level's at, so that, because the real benefit is the week off that you take. That week of rest when you feel lethargic and weak and lazy, but you show up like Superman. It's that week that heals you, because all the hard work that you do, we get stronger while we're resting, and we feed our bodies. So you got to feed your body. I'm a big advocate of high protein, moderate carb, low fat to get into shape once you are lean. You know, high protein, high carb, low fat. I'm not a big advocate of eliminating food groups. A lot of people like to do low carb to get lean or whatever, or keto or whatever. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying you want to live the rest of your life like that. I don't want to, and see, as soon as you eliminate a food group from your body, from your diet, you now become sensitive to that. So as soon as you eliminate carbohydrates, you create sensitivity to carbohydrates. So when you reintroduce carbohydrates, your body swells. I don't restrict sodium. I actually add sodium a lot of times to my water, because I drink a gallon of water a day. As long as you drink a gallon plus water a day, you flush out all the impurities. So if you're eating processed food or whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as you drink a gallon of water a day, it's flushing it out.
But we gotta add, if you don't add sodium, if Michael doesn't add sodium,
I get bad cramps.
He gets bad cramps.
Really bad cramps. Like, because I sweat a lot and my body, so it's funny, it's stupid funny. We're always told people who don't consume water hold excess water, right? If you consume water, your body thinks you're getting a constant supply of fluid, so it releases the excess fluid. That being said, if the guy who doesn't drink water and the guy who drinks a lot of water are both in the desert, the guy that drinks a lot of water dies first. Ain't that a bitch? You know what I'm saying? Like the healthy dude dies in the desert because he's flushing out all his water and he's drowned. I mean, he's out. This dude over here is holding on to his water. To me, that just seems unfair. You know, but all right, I had to go there for a second. But yeah, so just my training is it's just do the same workout. I'm a big advocate of tracking your numbers too. Now I don't have a board. Sometimes I have a board. Like when I'm prepping, I have a board that says I have to hit these numbers on these circuits. And then I have a PR weeks and all that stuff at the end. I never try to hit my PRs until that last week of training. what I did do, and I may have made a mistake, because I was, okay, one more time. So, what I did do, and I made a mistake this last time, was when yeah, this one's gonna help me.
I've never felt a strap that tight in my life.
I would like to be duct taped to you.
There's nothing I can do with that.
Well, I'm gonna try to post through. Really? That's tight to you? See, that's just like normal to me. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Get my ass whooped.
Just go ahead, ease into it. You good? Okay. Because it will compromise your wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. If your wrist is injured.
Just you tightening that strap hurting my wrist.
Yeah, we don't do that. All right, so we
Can I
can
try it?
Oh, we didn't do it yet?
I
Okay.
haven't done it yet. I'll try to not much for you.
Oh, whatever. So, what questions do we have before we do like a king of the table or something?
I want you to talk about how to get sponsorship.
Oh, okay. So
Wait a minute. Alright.
things are different now than what they used to be. But who here would love to go arm wrestle? Who would like to have $5,000 a year to go arm wrestle?
Right here?
Yeah, if you could get a $5,000 a year sponsor, would you go arm wrestle more?
Absolutely.
All right. It's different now and probably easier. But 20 years ago, I would get $5,600 every year to go arm wrestle. 50, that's a lot. $5,200. I forgot how many weeks are in a year. $5,200. You know how I did it? I'd go to local businesses. Now, if you go arm wrestle somebody for $500 or $300 or $200, if you're a business owner and you can't see a direct return on investment, it's pretty easy to decline, right? But let's say I went to 10 local businesses, especially if people in your hometown know you. Hey guys, I don't know if you know or not, but I started professional arm wrestling, so it means I travel around a lot, and the expense is on me. So what I'd like to do is get 10 of my local businesses to help sponsor me, and I'm gonna print up several different shirts with your business logos on the back, my brand on the front, and I'm gonna share it on my social media. Used to is like I come back home, I'll put it in the paper, whatever. Don't do it anymore. You know, search your social media, whatever. And all I'm looking for is $10 a week. I can come back, I can come by every Friday, every Monday, pick it up, every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever's best for you. But I'd love this local support, and anytime if I'm available, you have an opening or a special thing going on, I'll bring down my arm wrestling table, I'll do some demonstrations, beat the champ, whatever, but I just really appreciate your support, and anything I can do to give back, I'd be happy to help. How many people can say no to $10 a week? So if you get 10 people to give you $10 a week, how much is that? How many weeks? 5,200 bucks.
Bam.
How much you spend on shirts? You get 10 shirts maybe? Cost you 100 bucks? You're good.
How do you get a free truck though?
Okay, so I'm that's how that works. But all right, so the shirt deal was I mean the truck deal was, I knew that someone would think it'd be cool to have the world champ. Okay, I'm gonna lie. So I watched Travis Page's at-home feature for WL, and I saw that
Telling the story while he's
yeah.
dying. Look at
I saw that he was driving around in this convertible Z06. Now you never know if Travis is telling the truth or not.
Swear.
For real. And he'll tell you, if it's women, money, or drugs, I will lie every single time. So that's Travis Bajan, verbatim. But, so he's in his at-home feature, and he's driving this convertible Z06. He's like, yeah, man, my local dealership gave it to me. And I think he said, I know he said, yeah, dude, I sold that lease to my buddy. I got 4 kids, I don't need a convertible vet. So he takes the Corvette from the dealership, sells the lease to his buddy, takes the money instead. 4 kids, right? Needs money. So I'm thinking, if somebody give Travis's bomb ass, no, I'm just kidding. If someone was to give Travis a convertible vet, Monster Michael Todd, someone's gonna give me a jacked up truck.
Yeah.
Just makes sense. I'm in Arkansas, rednecks, Monster Todd, jacked up truck, someone's gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I go around to all my local dealerships, and they're all like, no, but I'm Michael Todd. Why are you not getting the truck? And then one place actually said, well, we'll give you $500 a month towards your car payment, but every 2 years you have to get a new car because we're a new car dealership. So we thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, we'll do that. I go back in, and it's like they forgot the conversation. I'm like, what do you mean? But y'all said. And
Can
my
we get
paper-
to the Cliff Notes?
Okay, Cliff Notes version. So there's another dealership. Buddy of mine says, go to this guy. He used to arm wrestle as a kid. He owned Campbell Dodge, 2 towns over from me. I stop in. Don't even talk to the dude. Talk to the general manager. Tell him who I am. He's like, yeah. come back Monday. I come back Monday, I sit in a room with him and the owner for 15 minutes, like, yeah, whatever. Now, I had a week. They got me a brand new truck, tricked out, lifted, and we did the 10-day tour across the United States in it, right? And I come back home, yeah, California, and I get I was supposed to put 5,000 miles on it. My new truck's not ready yet. So like, just keep it. So I ended up putting 6,000 miles on it. They're like, oh dude, we sold your truck. Because what they're doing is they're selling the truck after I drive it. Because I put it all over social media, now somebody wants to buy the truck.
Yeah.
Whether it's the one I drove or whatever the reason, we posted all over the place, people have seen it, they want to buy the truck. Well, then they give me a loaner one because they're building my new one. So then they build me this 75th anniversary 2500 Dodge Power Wagon Badass. But then I'm going on the road, so I put 1,500 miles on it. While we're on the first leg of the trip, because I don't know if y'all know, because of COVID, these computer chips didn't get made, and the car dealerships are empty on cars.
Yeah.
So I normally have 700 cars, I get 100. Like, hey dude, we sold your truck. I'm like, but I only got 1,500 miles on it. Yeah. And we probably can't give you another one until we get more cars. So I'm like, well, cool, because I'm gonna be on the road to the end of the year anyway. So they're gonna work on getting me another one in November or December. So that was the car.
The moral to that story, though,
Hustle.
and how he actually, is he didn't quit. He had, and it's like his King's move. You know, why do you King's move? Because I don't quit till they call the pin. I mean, do you just stand up and quit? Oh, I'm sorry, this might be ugly, so I quit. Well, a lot of people told him no, and he just knew that there was going to be somebody out there that wanted their name on an automobile that's being driven across the United States.
Well, the same exact thing.
So he quit.
The same exact thing happened to RV in this tour. We could have funded it ourselves and just hoped that we made enough money off YouTube to reimburse ourselves. But I thought, excuse me, I thought, okay, so I have this mobile billboard, and we have national businesses. Well, if these businesses, we're going to go put a billboard up down the road on the interstate, how much are they going to pay a month for that billboard? Well, what if they put up 3 billboards, right? They have these same people can see this, but if you're a national brand company, what's better than having a mobile billboard driving across the United States and me posting you all over my social media?
Yep.
So that was one avenue. And then we thought about our YouTube channel. Well, our YouTube channel is getting 1.5 to 2 million views a month. And I started looking up at what it would cost somebody to put a 5-second commercial on a YouTube channel that gets those kind of views. It's like $7,000 or $8,000 a month. So I said, well, let's split this up between 5 different businesses and charge them $2,000 a month plus $1,000 to help contribute to the wrap for the RV. And I just kept asking people until somebody's like, that's a great idea. I'd love to be outside the RV. So now, you know, we have 6 months. It's funny because people, our family, they don't understand. They think we're just out having fun. No, I have a 6-month contract to travel the United States. Like if she was a travel nurse, she got paid to go do a nurse job. I got paid to travel the United States. My bills at home are paid, my bills on the road are paid, and I got a motorhome and a Hummer out of it. So 6 months I'm traveling the United States doing cool stuff. And
But you have to promote the people like you say you're going to promote the people.
Yeah.
You know, and that goes back to if you find your sponsorship, you might have to ask 100 to find 10. But is it worth it if you get to go spend a year doing it?
Yep.
You know, absolutely.
I mean, how much does a normal tournament cost you? 300 to 500?
About that, depending on how far you have to travel.
So you say you have 6 local events that cost you $250, so that's $1,250, and you have 6 events that cost you $600, so that's $3,600. So maybe now you have an event a month, locals and travel things to everything, and it's paid for. And all you gotta do is be a man of your word, do what you said you was gonna do. You know, promote the brand. I mean, yes, those could lead to much bigger sponsorships, but nobody in this room is gonna say no to $5,200 a year to go arm wrestling, in my opinion. You know?
Yeah.
I think that's actually like the best thing that arm wrestlers can hear right now is how to find sponsorship, especially for American arm wrestlers, because it is on you. Just like our Olympians, it's on them to pay for their way to the Olympics, right? Well, knowing how to get sponsors and also fulfill your deal with them is important. It's important for continuation of the sport. You know, especially U.S. is so spread out. If you only go to California tournaments, you are not exposing yourself to all of the different pulls out there and the different levels of competition.
Yeah.
How can you achieve number 1 in your class if you never pull someone, you know, that's over in New Jersey or wherever because they're ranked above you? How can you do that? You can be state best, you know.
It all depends on what your goals are, right? And still, even at going out and getting the sponsors locally, you don't have to have that goal of being the world champion. You say, hey, I enjoy doing this. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way for me to expose your brand to my social media and let people know that you're a big supporter of what I'm doing. Love to partner with you guys. I mean,
That's the other part of that. You have to have a social media.
Yeah, it does
If
help.
you guys
I mean,
don't have
otherwise, like I
basic
said,
I'm out.
ramen anyway.
I do like ramen.
So do I. Hell yeah, I knew I liked
But if
you.
you eat ramen, okay, back to my nutrition. A ramen noodle is 52 grams. It depends on which one you get. 52 grams of carbs, 14 grams of fat, 10 grams of protein.
Not great.
Not a healthy meal.
How much
Yeah,
sodium?
not at all.
A lot. But if you drink a gallon of water, it doesn't matter.
I think it's
If you
like
take
60.
If you take that family-sized can of chicken that's 54 grams of protein, 7.5 fat, 0 carbs, and dump into it, you just made it a healthy meal.
See? Fucking told you.
I mean, your macros.
Ramen is good for you.
Just ask Ollie Muscle, right? Your numbers will add up.
Yeah.
Because what it is you're having that in the early part of the day, and then you're eating your lean meat, green veggies.
Exactly.
All your carbohydrates need to be done between first and fourth meal.
Yep.
5 and 6. People are like, oh, you shouldn't eat after dark. No, you shouldn't eat carbs. You need to eat protein right before you go to bed. You can wake up in the middle of the night and have protein. But you just got to constantly feeding your body. Your body's a machine. You need fuel.
Yeah.
So what happens is once you get lean, Holly will tell you, once you're lean, you can maintain a very lean physique without having to be strict. Because once you get lean, your body now no longer distinguishes between carbs and fats. It just sees food as fuel.
Yeah.
So it burns it as fuel. But you have to get there. So I
It's a
train.
nice place
That's
to be.
yeah.
I train clients.
That's my problem. It's getting there.
Right? It is. And that's why
Stay
we're
away
doing what
from
we're
the
doing.
damn cookies and milk.
Man, I'm telling you. So I train
That's some
clients.
good food right there.
Hell yeah.
Protein in the milk, right?
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah,
So I
it's
train
all good
clients all
for
the
you.
time who
Just
say,
when you do it.
I don't want to get abs. Well, then you never want to eat again. Because if you don't want to get abs, you're never going to have freedom of your nutrition. You're always going to be dieting.
Yeah.
Because if you never get to a low enough body fat to where now your body's reset its metabolism, you will always fight nutrition. You'll always have to. But so when a client comes into me, I'm like, okay, so what do you want to look like? Well, I want to look, okay, we need to get you all the way leaned out. When I mean I need abs and I need some ab veins. Now once you're there, so this is where people screw up all the time. So if you put premium fuel in your sports car, would you ever start putting regular fuel back in it? No. If I'm putting premium fuel in my body to get lean, why would I start eating junk food to get big?
Yeah.
That's just an excuse to eat like shit.
Yeah.
So what you do is you take the food you ate to get lean and just eat more portions, larger portions, or increase the carbohydrate, the healthy carbs. So many people just change their nutrition. They did this to get here, and now you love yourself, and you're like, well, how do I get bigger? Oh, I'm gonna eat this shit. And the reason this is a perfect example, and this goes back way before y'all's time. Lou Ferrigno, in 1 year, gained 75 pounds to come in 2 pounds heavier on stage the next year. The average body can gain 6 pounds lean muscle in a year. So he gained 75 pounds of shit weight to come in 2 pounds heavier. He could have just trained and ate clean all year, bigger calories, and came in 4 to 6 pounds heavier. But it's a perfect example. You put on all that shit to just come, and then I'm telling you, self-esteem wise, if you don't like yourself and you look in the mirror, you're not happy, my workouts aren't as good. I don't want to be in the gym as long. But when you're balling, you look like this shit, I'll take my shirt off and train like a beast.
Oh, y'all, for real?
What if you
Okay,
feel good
story.
fat?
Story time.
Huh?
What if you feel good while you're fat?
If you feel good fat, tell me who your hypnotist was, because I want it. I hate myself.
He's pulling push car.
I saw that.
17.
2017. He's pulling push car, and he has been having like 5 large pizzas because all he's doing is bulking, right? So he's
5 a day.
doing everything you guys that he just told you not to do
Everything.
because he's like, I just gotta be big, and he knows it's the wrong thing, but he's doing it.
I'm an idiot.
And then it comes to competition day, and by the way, I'm competing as well. So we're in Zloty tour, and I compete in the morning. His freaking super match isn't until later that evening. He is pissed. I'm about to compete. He is pissed. I'm like, oh, my ADD, guys. He's over there pouting, throwing a fit, and I'm like, Michael,
Full blown tantrum.
I've got to get ready. He goes, this is not about you. I was like, actually, right now it kind of is, because I'm about to, get there. His shirt didn't look good on him.
You can see my back fat. I was like,
Oh, that's the worst.
I'm about to be on a 20-foot big screen. You're gonna see my back fat. This ain't gonna work out for me. You know what I'm saying? So I was
His
more
shirt
concerned about my
didn't
back
look
fat
good on
than I
him.
was the beat push
Can
bar.
we talk about the plane ride over there?
Oh yeah, she cried.
So he's pissed because his shirt doesn't look good on him. And I'm remembering that I just had to cut 20 pounds in a damn month. We're on a plane ride that's like 4 years long.
Long ass flight.
I can't eat. I'm having to spit into a
So
ball.
she's cutting, right? She's got to make 125s, right? So she's spitting in a thing.
I'm having, they put my breakfast in front of me, he takes it away.
Because I'm not letting that shit go back, so I eat my breakfast and her breakfast. She goes and sits in the bathroom and cries.
So
But she's
you
so
took
fucking
my
miserable.
breakfast, I'm about to compete, and you're pissed because your shirt doesn't fit right? We were not friends that day. We were not friends.
Yeah, but so I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm going to be Mr. Fit Michael Todd again. But that's the plan. So when I pull push car the first time, I immediately turn around like this and scream. You can see my abs through my shirt. And the next time I'm pulling, my back fat's hanging off on both sides.
And so
he's like, "Why are you so fat?"
That's
I'm
exactly
like,
what push
yeah,
car's
we go hang out. That's one of my best memories of Andre push car.
Why are you so fat?
It's after him beating me. And see, I wanted to win that match because it was undisputed overall number one in the world. But he came out on top, 4-2, right? So that night we're in his room and we're, this happens every time I drink with the Russians. Do not drink with the Russians.
Don't do it.
Especially if your wife's with you. Because they hand both of you shots. She takes like the first 3 shots. And then they keep handing shots. So I'm drinking mine, I'm drinking hers, I'm drinking mine, I'm drinking hers. I am blitzed out of my mind every time. Like the first time I drank with the Russians with Igor and Kirill, and I definitely had alcohol poisoning. And they were shoveling spoonfuls of charcoal down my throat to make me puke.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad. And this is our first time ever meeting. She's like, I'm about to get sold to this next lady. This is not gonna work out. Not good.
I was younger and cuter then. So it was like,
It was
I was
really,
big.
it was definitely sketch for sure.
And he had told me all of their history. I'm like, that's what's happening to me, for real. And he's like, call my mother. I'm not calling shit.
Because I thought I was gonna die. Like I was more like, tell my mom I love her.
I'm gonna tell your mom you're a piece of shit.
I'm really messed up. But so then, but I was hanging out with Push Car, and we had a great time. And that was my last time to get to see him before he passed. So that loss of Andre Push Car was almost made me retire because he was my benchmark. He was the reason that I trained as hard as I could, as hard as I did. But I felt the best way to honor him was to keep going.
It's pretty cool to hear his wife say the same thing. That you were his.
Yeah. So his wife commented to us about how important I was as a rival to Andre, which meant the world to me because I had such great respect for him. 35, your testosterone starts dropping every day. Women have been taking hormone replacement for years. There's no reason why a man should. I mean, I think it's unfair that well, I can't say unfair. I want to say unfair. It's unrealistic to expect a person to sacrifice their quality of life as an aging male to go compete at an amateur level event like IFA or WAF. And I'm not saying the guys there aren't quality, but there's no money.
Yeah.
And you're telling me I can't take TRT, which is my daily life, the quality of my daily life, just to compete in your tournament. That's a little stupid in my opinion. And I'm always going to be an advocate of that. I mean, because I want to go. Like, I want to go to IFA, but I'm not. Because I'm definitely getting tested.
Yep.
If I show up at any of it, huh?
They're testing?
At once.
100%. They won't test at nationals, but they will 100% test.
Not this year.
Not this year.
I've already had the when did you have the conversation?
I've had a couple
Oh fuck, we're gonna see Mike there. Here we go.
Yeah. No,
Yeah. He's on us the next time.
Because I mean, I'm going to compete in 40 over class.
Leonard told us that they were testing worlds.
Like a week ago. Have y'all heard
I
that?
thought they were.
He said they
I've
weren't
always-
testing
he-
worlds, but they were
So you know they're not testing.
That's what I heard.
I've not heard
Leonard
anything
today.
like that.
All right, so okay, guys, we
I'm
have.
sure they're saying that so everybody does.
You got some insider info.
What'd you say, boss?
I was just talking.
Okay. So we can continue talking. We can answer questions. We can do a king of the table, which we're going to put on our channel. Basically, we do the whole thing again. Instead of standing up.
Can me and Rebecca go first?
Yes.
Can I pee?
Yeah. Can we do both hands?
Yes.
Where's the?
Right over there.
Did you just all through my left?
Left arm up. Yeah.
I'll be nice.
Her left had some wrist injuries back
Oh.
8 years ago, and they've just never really recovered.
Can we do the wrist with no hand? Like this?
No, because that makes no sense. I'm just
Well,
saying.
it's for fun.
Yeah, but
Oh,
okay,
yeah, you're right.
you're never going to arm wrestle that way. And so we all did it. Let's go this way. Great. I'm not doing something I can't do in a tournament. I don't want to practice bad habits. I want to do, so let's just say this is all going to be some, I don't know. It makes no sense to me. I used to do it years ago, but I don't let her. But she doesn't really like arm wrestling, honestly. I'm just happy to have her back on the table.
Let's make it fun then. Let's
Yeah.
make it fun for her.
Okay.
What can we do to make it fun table time?
Just normal arm wrestling. Just let her practice. I mean, you go both try to arm wrestle, try to win, and have fun. But it's just happy to have her back. And the thing was, it was her that decided to get back on the table, not me pushing her.
That's so
Like I
that's
wanted her to
what
go. I wanted her to go to IFA Worlds because 40 and
Let's
over.
go.
No, she won't. She doesn't feel like she has time to get ready because like she's been out 2.5 years, hasn't trained. But at 40 and over, it gave her a weight cut to make. Because see, that's another thing about arm wrestling. So I don't know how old everybody is. But what happens oftentimes is you're an athlete from school, right? You're a high school athlete or whatever, and you find out about arm wrestling, you're always pretty good at it. Oh shit, I want to go do this. Well, let's say you're a little older, you put on a little fluff. As you get older, you're like, and you're arm wrestling against guys you should not be arm wrestling against because your extra weight is fat and theirs is muscle. You're like, shit, if I can lose weight and get that lighter weight class, I'm gonna kick some people's ass. It gives you a reason to get in shape. It gives you a reason to stay healthy. Arm wrestling is not only just a family and a lot of camaraderie, and I always believe it's like a family reunion getting together arm wrestling. It is a reason to keep people healthy. Because now, as a super heavyweight, like it is very disheartening for me to be the super heavyweight guy who still has to watch what he eats. Because I am a foodie. I had 47 pieces of pizza at a buffet. I ate this big Texan in 19 minutes. I've had a quarter sheet cake in 10 minutes. I like food. But I don't like me when I look like shit. So the goal is to get back lean like Paulie, be super jacked, and then pack on some massive muscle. But yeah, so I'm always an advocate of loving yourself. And I jokingly say this all the time. I'd either want a hypnotist to hypnotize me to where I don't crave bad food, unhealthy food, or to hypnotize me to be the guy with the cutoff shorts and the fucking belly hanging out at the leg happy as well. Either one of those I'm fine with. Because I'd hate me being that guy now, and I crave bad food all the time. So it's just all comes down to what your priority is. Is that temporary satisfaction you get from eating that pizza supersede the satisfaction of waking up in the morning looking good in the mirror and feeling amazing?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does. You know, but my objective is, and that's what I always try to tell people, eat clean until you get lean, and then give yourself one cheat meal a week, or one cheat day a week. Once you have one cheat meal, you still stay lean, have 2 cheat meals. Find out what you can get away with. If you have 4 cheat meals and you start getting fat again, go back to 1. So you know that 3 is your limit. And then, because if a person's like, okay, all you gotta eat right is Monday through Friday, and I got free weekends, pretty much everyone can live like that for the rest of their life. But you gotta get fit to do it. If you try to get there that way, you'll never get there. And then you're pissed, like, well, I'm a big bone. No, you fucking...
No, you're fat. You just bugger.
Yeah, you might want to step that nutrition up a bit. But,
Who's that guy that has the horrible voice?
oh, Greg.
Greg Doucette. I love when he says, if you look down at your belly and you don't have ab veins and you tell me you're bulking, you've already bulked. The bulking's done.
If there's no longer ab veins, you're getting chuggy.
The bulking's done.
It's over. But I mean, it all comes. It's all what
Been cold for the past 5 years.
entire life. Mine comes back from being, I was a 5'2", 150-pound short, chubby kid growing up. So I still kind of feel like that kid, right? Although I haven't been that guy in 30 years, or 35 years, I still have that mental picture of me as a chubby kid. So it's not how other people see me, it's how I see me. All right, is everyone in line? Do we have a decent order where you're not trying to screw me and get the strong guy at the end? Yeah, I see him.
What do you want me to do?
I mean, point it at me so I can talk to it. Are we good? We in the camera?
I mean, like, it's on your bald head, baby.
My little bald head. First time I ever said I had a little head. All right, guys. We've had a good seminar. We're going to do a king of the table. We're going to attempt the king of the table. I've pulled some of these guys already. They're really strong. So I'm going to see if I can't go through the line. Oh, God. All right, here we go. Well, maybe we go back this way. Yeah, the thing is, I don't want to go. I want y'all to go first and see if I can. But it may be a bad idea. I may be overestimating my COVID recovery.
Are you needing ready goes?
No, I don't want to do ready goes. No.
You're going to let him get it.
Yeah, I think so. I may should just put the strap on every time, but we'll see. That was a nice hit.
Okay, if you're going to do this, the talking stops.
I know, baby.
You can't do both.
Very good.
Oh. Wow.
Feel good. Maybe not let him take off so hard, Michael. Okay. I'll do better.
Not bad for the first one.
Not bad, Pete. We're not going to do that game. I just jump on it.
Oh, he's got me tight now.
Sorry. Do we not go on it?
I don't know.
There you go. I knew that guy was strong.
You know, I wonder if we were to
Hey,
put
I got so
rubber
strong.
on the bottom of
That's
that,
why I
if
arm
it would
wrestle. I
stick
fucking
better.
once a week. Here, I separated you.
Anybody big wants to come up here and stand on that table, let me.
We're okay.
Well, I would rather not be all the way, because I can't chase you.
All right. Hey, come on about the strap. You shouldn't have said you picked the strap. I mean, I'm happy to put this on.
That's not necessarily where you want to go, but he's actually.
Yeah, it's like he jumps in or gives. Just a hold right.
So there's a weird spot that I'll.
As soon
Yeah.
as you get, you're able to pull the elbow back, and every time you give some, to stop.
Never have, never want to match that way, I don't think. Just the way you move, it just puts in.
A lot of times, so like I say, I believe arm wrestling is a pulling sport, so it's like a tug of war. So, and this is something, if you guys are going to pick something up off the ground, would you be stronger picking it up like this, or pushing with the other hand as you picked it up? So you'll see, like when I just arm wrestled you, you went and then I pushed here, you pulled back. You get way more back pressure that way. All right.
Anybody a flat wrist, Mike?
What do you mean?
You gonna flatten that wrist? Because you've been starting like this every match.
Are you joking?
Oh, it's flat
Look
now.
at-
It's
yeah,
flat now.
I'm getting cupped over here.
I'm staring straight at the video, bro.
All right. All right, go ahead.
Good, Carlos.
Table spinning around too far back? Can you still see?
I'm not really.
He's working about an arm position.
What? The white cord is gonna go up like
Technically, you're not allowed to be able to touch the strap. Oh, while it's being applied.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's technically a rule, but refs let you get away with it all the time.
Shitty refs.
Alrighty, boss man. You get the fire on it.
There's your horsepower. Stay there, stay
I need
tight.
the table.
Ego is bro. Stay there.
Keep him right there.
Good. Ego.
Right there.
Keep it there. Keep the pressure. Good.
I get your shoulder behind your hand. There it is. There it is.
Come on, Israel. Keep that. Don't move.
Specialty.
Stay tight. Turns, baby.
It's gonna be your life, bro. Your life. There you go. See?
Stay there. Your side more. Keep him over. Drag him over.
That's
you.
crazy.
Ego. Come on, everything you got, Israel. Now, come on. That's it. Come on.
I'm getting.
All right, now. All slips go to the strap.
Why I did that?
So I get lightheaded too.
That's because your car's being so much.
I know, baby.
So I mean, there's the average. I mean,
It was, just now it was 128. When I made him sit down, it was close to 200.
Wow.
And normally, even when he's really exerting a lot of, working out as hard as he can, what does that say?
130, 140,
Oh, wow.
if that's a full workout.
But it's still significantly going up higher than
What she's saying is my lungs aren't recovered yet, so
Yeah.
it makes my heart.
work that much harder.
Yeah, so, you know, he can get at one, in his workout, he
What you
can
got,
get at 130.
That was
Stay with
high
his
end.
workout,
Yeah.
But his resting was 70, 80. Now,
Normal.
yeah, his resting right now is 100.
And it's, look.
No,
Yeah, this is huge.
20.
People with perfect execution. Most people do this. They get over and they have all this and they jump up to get behind it. Now when they jump up, there's a split second when I've fought so hard to get the position, and when I jump up, you can counter. So how you transition to a press is all pec deck. All pec deck. It's just like this. Boom. Now I'm gonna take this pressure and this pressure, push my hand in, and as I'm pushing, I'm transitioning my shoulder behind me. Like now even if this is compromised, boom, if I'm compromised, I will palm in pressure. See, I pec decked myself into position. If I didn't give up any of the center, that I mean, once you have this side pressure engaged, you never want to give it up to get your shoulder behind it. You want to keep applying that side pressure until your shoulder drops into position, right? So it doesn't look right here because it doesn't come any closer. If it's here, boom, you're right behind it. The other thing is, how do you, let's say we're both stretched out, we're both out here. Like, and he's got me here, and his shoulder's protecting his hand. Like he's got this protection. How do I get behind this? How do I get into a shoulder press? Best opportunity to beat his shoulder. Oh, okay, I'm explaining it wrong. Okay, look, he's here, boom. If I try to jump in here, he's protected. Let me get a little bit, get in here. But if I do this, and you'll see, if I can take this hand and push it past this shoulder line, either with dragging, see look, right there, there it is right there. He's protected. Now it's all bicep. Now I can come behind it in the bicep. But if he's here, if I try to get in, he's protected with his shoulder. You have to take this hand, push it past that shoulder line, and once you get it past that shoulder line, then you jump into press. But you'll always see me watching, and you got to get this from here to here. Here he has protection from his pec, his shoulder, and side pressure. Once he gets out past that shoulder, it's all bicep. Now his bicep's not going to be as strong as my shoulder and my tricep. So transitional arm wrestling is about waiting for opportunities. The opportunity will present itself, you just have to be ready to capitalize. Does that make sense? All right, so I'm cool. My left's not that good, but we can try a left king of the table if you want. You want?
Yeah,
It may be one round. You know what I'm saying? All right. So I
I'm
will
not
switch
going
sides.
first this time.
Okay. I will switch sides. I feel like Nan's gonna go.
Yeah, no, no.
I mean, you ain't got to go left.
I'd rather go last.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, this might stop with you.
You go
My left's
last,
not that
then
good.
I'll go after.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't have a top roll, but I'm pretty strong to hook left-handed. All right,
Yeah.
I'll get right on this side. So, you want to be first, Nano?
I'll go last. No, if you want me to go first, I'll go. I'll go first.
I don't know who the strongest left is here. Is it you?
He is.
You are?
No, he beats me. Well, no, homeboy beats me.
Israel, do you want to come in first?
Did you get all the way to the right?
Yes. That was everybody right?
Oh my gosh, Michael, where's the dog?
So you're inside, outside.
I'll go inside.
Sweet. All right, I'm not saying we'll win, but I'll have a much better chance.
Form a line?
You're all outside, aren't you? It's not going to work out for me. Yeah, my heart rate. I'll try to go outside. I'll try to go outside because I doubt I'll be able to hook by your top one. All right. Knew that was coming. I'll try to do something. There you go. Yeah, I probably won't be able to beat.
Who did it? Who did the split?
Oh, that was me. you go.
Look how long that hand is.
I would never slip.
We would all slip.
That's a big old long hand.
So, you're gonna go with mine. So Corey says my left arm is close to as strong as my right arm, just my left-handed wrist is horrible. So I am not a good practice left-hand arm wrestler. I'm a good tournament because I have really fast shoulder press. So no pressure, somebody said boom, I hit you in the press real fast.
You're the champion of TAL left, aren't you?
For who?
Did you win TAL left?
TAL, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of medical. Yeah, I feel like you're gonna crush me outside.
Got you.
Nice.
You ready to go?
Well, it's not gonna work, I don't think. Since you want my wrist, I'm gonna have to see some thumb knuckle there, Nano. That's that thumb knuckle, he didn't move his hand. Did you see that?
No.
That's what they do around
I
here.
lifted my finger and then you pressed your thumb up against my finger.
What?
You didn't even like
Where's my thumb?
that? Classic. Every time I arm wrestle with you veterans, you got these little games you play to fuck with the
I'll
rest.
try to do that. All right, go ahead. Get ready for that. Maybe ready to go. We'll try one. I don't think I do it.
So I gotta, you want me to?
Yeah, no.
I'm not gonna shoulder press. I'm not gonna shoulder press.
You're just being flashing it?
Oh, he's killing me. All right, so somebody say ready to go from this side.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm not gonna try to shoulder press you. We're just gonna try to shoot the hook. See if I can engage it. Ready to go? Nope. Yeah, I'll let it go once you get my wrist cracked. Ever since that elbow blew apart. Yeah, so that's the left hand. Sorry, guys. No, y'all can jump into it.
Oh shit, I'm supposed to be up there, Mike.
Yeah, you were.
King of the
And no one wants to arm wrestle you.
Preach.
Right, I'm just playing. So just the three pins right there from you, my left elbow is inflamed like crazy.
Yeah.
I just don't have the hand and wrist to support it, to put it where I want it to be. And once I get in a compromised spot, it just...
I'm really gonna try that, what you suggested, training blown up, because that's what happens every time. I can beat Brent Rockers, all those cats fresh.
Yeah.
But once I get stopped a couple times in a match,
Yeah.
they'll just burn me out. They'll flop their wrist and lock there and just let me gas.
Alright.
So you're regretting this left hand, aren't you?
Oh, big time.
Temperature or your pulse.
You inside? Ah, appreciate it. Alright, come on.
I can tell by if he can talk.
Why are you trying to hook him?
Very good move.
Did you not watch me pull him?
Yeah, that was perfect. Alright, do it again. I let him sit way too deep in that hook. Alright, go ahead.
Oh shit, he pinned you in the hook? Jesus Christ. Yeah, try to take his hand. There it is.
Yeah, he's probably gonna beat me. Ouch. Brandy, that's perfect.
There you go, Kyle. Get him. There you go. Get him. Hold it there, Kyle. There you go.
That's pretty strong though. See, the newest...
Flex it out.
Can you take
Show us your muscle.
All right, so who all knows how to keep novice guys safe when they arm wrestle on the table? Right?
Go look at your hand.
Okay, so it's not even look at your hand. That is key, right? But when you're practicing, I do a lot of beat the champs out in public. You see Travis do it. Travis is probably one of the best at it. Devin's horrible. He's broke like 9 people's arms. You know what I'm saying? Fucking horrible. Travis gives 0 fucks if he fouls off the back of the pad. He just wants to make sure the guy doesn't get hurt. So when you're pulling somebody who's new, they're going sideways, you just cup them and drag them over. Travis will come down all the way up the table. All right, goodbye. But you got to keep them safe. Because these guys get into a lot of ego and break their own shit. So when I arm wrestle someone new, I never try to pin them side pressure. I always try to drag them until I get the, I'm watching the whole time, make sure that this line doesn't torque. And then once you get this over, the palm turned up, then you can go sideways with it. You outside? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
If it's gonna hurt anybody, it's hurting me. Shut up, tighten strap.
So you're allowed to
Never thought about that.
say
No.
you want it tighter if you want?
Bob Brown says you're not.
Okay.
But I do not trust Bob. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
No, I mean, he says the WF rules.
Does anybody trust Bob?
No, I like Bob a lot. But he says that the WF rules technically say that it's just a snug tight. But I believe if the buckle's on my side, I will convince that ref to tighten it. You know what I'm saying? I'm so screwed.
We'll be talking with Bill Collins tomorrow. Look at that.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna happen.
Smash.
All right, I'm gonna try to back.
He's gonna keep
All right, go
smashing.
ahead.
Hey, keep, don't stop rolling, huh?
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I might could seek a hook,
Do you want it ready?
Let's go, let's try it.
Speak your hook.
jump in there with it.
Here you go.
Yeah, see, your hook is gonna be different than my hook, because your hook's gonna be back into the top one.
Yeah.
You're not going this way. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's jump in, go sideways.
All right, go ahead. Ready, go.
That's a strange hook, bro.
I never seen that, bro.
Better keep it in the hook.
Oh, he's using, y'all see him using a hand pressure, back pressure? Listen, you're not supposed to use it against him.
What we got here? Breath mount.
That's
Going in my
smart.
breath tank? Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I'm about to back pressure.
My brother's over the land.
We good already? No.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody say he might be the better one? Are you inside or
Stinky
outside?
motherfucker right now. Oh, see,
We got that on video, right?
Yeah.
Battery.
That was my tricky outside coming out the back.
Hey, sometimes in arm wrestling, it's all about timing. It's all about timing.
All right.
Alright, I think we're done.
So everybody want to get behind the camera for this one?
Do you want to let me?
Oh.
Something one more time?
Sure. I'll let you have my super sweat.